of nutmeg, the spice. It was so expensive back in the day that corrupt exporters used to try and mix in a bit of wood in with the nutmeg to cut their costs. The term soon became slang. If you were nutmegged, it was because the person you were buying off had pulled a fast one on you. Jose Mourinho brought a lot of things to English football, and seems like one of those was the phrase "park the bus." He used it after his Chelsea side had been held to a goalless draw by Spurs in 2004. Tottenham had been extremely defensive, not trying to score, but making sure Chelsea couldn't either. Mourinho actually said, "They brought the bus and left the bus in front of the goal, as we say in my country." Finally, another phrase that actually comes from cricket. Footballers are said to have missed a sitter if they miss an easy chance. In the late 19th century, it was used in cricket to describe a moment when a fielder failed to take a catch which was so easy they should have been able to catch it sitting down. So there you have it, some of your favourite footballing cliches. And if you think this video is all over, well, it is now.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I am Hugh, Woozencroft, and I've got sports broadcaster Flex alongside me for the next 3 hours tonight. And Newcastle fans, maybe delusional, let's use that word, shall we, to think that Benjamin Sesko should be choosing their club over Manchester United. And in truth, are the PSR rules really holding them back? I'm not sure. We'll talk about Alejandro Garnacho as well, leaving United, but is he the right player for Chelsea? And they could get him for under £40 million. United fans, would you be happy to see him go even at that price? We'll talk about the Blues boss Enzo Maresca. He and Liverpool's Arne Slot nominated for the Ballon d'Or Coach of the Season. Scott McTominay on the player list as well. Do any deserve to win it? Let us know what you think. From 8 till 9, we'll take a look at the start of the Championship season as well. We'll be joined by Charlton's chairman, Gavin Carter, and Troy Deeney as well, former Birmingham City striker. You can text us on 81089. You can also give us a call tonight, 03717 223344. This is Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. We're not trying to make people unhappy tonight, right? We're just trying to make people happy. That's what we want to do, okay? But I've been listening to a lot of shows over the last 48 hours. It's fair to say we've made a lot of people unhappy.
Absolutely.
The Newcastle fans in particular don't feel great at the moment. And a few of the shows have maybe hammered that home for them. So we can only apologise. I can't promise you it won't get worse tonight.
No, I can't. Depending on what the calls are like or if people ring in that agitate me. I think a lot of Newcastle United fans' anger has been misguided. Yeah, I think it's been put in the wrong direction.
We're going to get to that about 7:45, Newcastle fans. If you want to drop us a call, like I say, 03717 223344. Is the club actually to blame for the situation you're in, not those pesky PSR rules? Have you been on since you went on the Man United tour?
I've been on talkSPORT too, since I haven't been on talkSPORT.
How was it?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. We're back. I've been sucked in with the good vibes of camp, with the good vibes of open training sessions and doing some interviews with some players and feeling the vibe. We're going to have a very good season next year. I can feel it.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
No, I'm only joking. No, I don't know. But it was a good tour. It was a good tour. Yeah. Definitely.
Did Manchester United have the allure, that celebrity, that fame, that brand of being a giant football club? Did you feel that when you were on the tour?
Well, Manchester United's game against West Ham at the MetLife Stadium had a higher attendance than the Club World Cup final that was in the same stadium a few weeks before. So did it have the allure? Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody showed out to see the mighty Man United. But in terms of the team, which is the most important thing, what they're doing on the pitch, they were bright. There was a lot of things I saw that I liked. Still some concerning things that absolutely need work on, so you can't get carried away. But in terms of drawing a line under last season and trying to move forward with it and changing the mentality and the culture at the club, plus playing on the front foot and being a little bit more aggressive with some new signings, it was positive.
We're asking Manchester United fans this hour, how much have your expectations changed given the signing of Matheus Cunha, given the signing of Bryan Mbeumo, and now the big news of the day, Manchester United agreeing a deal worth £73.7 million with RB Leipzig to sign a new striker in the shape of Benjamin Sesko. The agreement includes a guaranteed payment of £66.3 million. The remainder would be in add-ons. He's now going to complete the formalities, including undergoing a medical before finalising a move to Old Trafford. And if you've got a ticket for the game against Fiorentina at the weekend at Old Trafford, you are likely to see him welcomed by the crowd, all being well. Manchester United clearly are set for a better season, right? Their front three is much, much stronger. But how much do the three transfers, and this transfer in particular, move the needle in terms of next season?
We still have to be realistic. You know, we finished 15th for a reason. It was an absolute nightmare, a disgraceful season. But adding Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, which are Premier League proven players, who know where the back of the net is, they know how to create chances, they can deal with the physicality of the league. They add much needed dynamism into Manchester United's team and physicality. They immediately up the level in that area of the pitch, in my opinion. Benjamin Sesko coming in is a big upgrade on Rasmus Højlund. This is one of the top young European strikers in Europe. Like, he is. Like, just because he's going to Man United, I don't want that needle to move, that narrative to change. It was between, Gyökeres.
It feels like much more of a risk, though.
Of course, it's
Cunha and Mbeumo, Premier League proven.
100%. And I was one of the biggest advocates to go and sign Ollie Watkins. But actually, I think what can mitigate Sesko's lack of Premier League experience is the signing of Cunha and Mbeumo. It's not like when Rasmus Højlund came to the club, nobody to learn off, not really much help, not support. So we've retained the services of Bruno Fernandes, which some Man United fans crazily still think was the wrong thing to do. You're probably one of them. You're probably one of them. We'll argue about that later on.
Listen, so Jim Ratcliffe said Manchester United was skint. So I believe
he's just over-egged it. There you go. He's just over-egged it because look what do we look skint?
No.
There you go.
It does move the dial, but not hugely.
No, it doesn't. No, we have to be
not hugely. I know there are some that are like, we'll give it a good crack at the top four.
No.
I think you need to calm yourselves down on that one massively.
Absolutely.
Manchester United were terrible last season. In fact, it was relegation form.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I'm not going to be revisionist on it, was down to, in my opinion, the approach from Ruben Amorim and his tactics.
That ain't going to change.
He says he's not going to change.
No. And it hasn't on tour. It hasn't changed.
Exactly. So if he's not going to change, basically I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that for some reason these three players that Manchester United have signed are just on fire.
Well, it isn't just about those three. But
they're the three signings who are going to start.
But we have to negate for the actual players that we have improving. Now, there's only for those of you who can't see,
you've been watching every pre-season game.
Patrick Dorgu's improved.
Yeah.
And obviously he's only just got there in January. And having spoke to him, actually, I asked him what's different. Like, what's Ruben telling you now that he wasn't before? And what I like when I ask all the players that's that progression is they're saying nothing. It would be more concerning to me, which I think we're probably different opinions. Because you're saying you need to do something different.
He does.
If this manager's saying, I'm wedded to this style, we will get it right with this, get me my players, I'm telling you we're going to do it right. I don't want to see him after it's gone bad in a tormentous time of the season changing all the principles now in the pre-season. No. And when he was asked about what's different, he's just saying the players are just more confident. What I saw is pre-season, right? But what I saw, I can tell you what I saw, was the players playing with more intensity, playing with more hunger, and it did look more like what I would think Ruben Amorim was asking them to do. And they're all saying he hasn't told us anything different. So we do have to negate for players improving their understanding of what is being demanded of them.
That's going to be a very fragile confidence if Manchester United,
of course it is,
lose badly on the opening game.
100%, but if they win and start building confidence, there's one game a week as well. Smaller squad, you've got better players. Like you said, we've just revamped our whole strike force. If at the end of the season when we beat Aston Villa, that final whistle went, 15th was confirmed, and I went, Hugh, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to sign Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha and Benjamin Sesko. You of all people, because you are Mr. Pessimist, you're not having it. You'll go, don't be so stupid, we haven't got any money.
Yeah.
That's what you'd say, but we've done it.
And it is incredible, as a fan, aside from professionalism, my job, I'm stunned to see Manchester United spend in just above £200 million on three players.
Yeah, without selling any.
Everyone, I think, that listens to the show on a Thursday knows what my view was. I'm very much a Ralph Rangnick kind of guy. I felt this squad, having finished 15th, rock bottom, open heart surgery was the term he used.
This is.
But for me, that is Manchester United getting rid of double figures in players.
You can't do that.
You can't with this squad because they're so bad.
No, nobody. No.
Because nobody wants them. You're absolutely. You almost said it. Nobody wants them. Now, if
nobody wants them. I was going to say nobody does that. Nobody just gets 10, 15 players out.
Well, I would have liked to go
Arsenal didn't do it like that. They still staggered it. You don't just... The open heart surgery thing...
Chelsea?
That's a whole different... that's a whole different thing. They also keep bringing 10, 15 in every time.
Yeah.
That's not the norm with how they've got it.
But my point on it is, even though it's very good recruitment, it's a slow, measured change rather than a drastic change. I would have preferred them to be really radical with the squad.
Mate. They said, you 5, you're not coming on tour.
Yeah, but
you're not getting on the plane.
With the whole squad.
Do you know what they would have done? Do you know how I know?
I feel like there's a lot of players.
Do you know how I know it's a big change? I was on a tour last year as well. Jadon Sancho was on the tour. And Jadon Sancho was on the tour for keeping up appearances. Jadon Sancho was on the tour because of preserve value, let's make it look like he hasn't actually fallen out with Eric Ten Hag. He was doing club media, saying, I like it here in America, UCLA is great, this is fantastic facilities. We all know he's leaving. Now Man United, or should I say Ineos, have gone, forget that. There's no point trying to dress this up like it's all okay. No, these 5, we're even going to go public and say, they've asked for a move. Don't come to Carrington when we're there. How much more forceful do you want? Do you know what I mean? How much more forceful do you want than that?
My point on it is 3 good players, yes. They're going to make Manchester United better, yes. Next season, is it going to be the same?
What, 5th?
Season after that?
Oh, keep doing it.
So for me, again, as a fan, nothing has truly changed in my mind because I always felt it would be 4 or 5 years before Man United were challenging.
They're trying to win the title in 2020.
For the title.
And they're making signings that reflect that.
Yeah, but I still feel it will be 4 or 5 years off because of the number of other issues at Manchester United at the moment. It's a great start, but I think when you look at the other teams in the league, to get in that top 3 picture, those 3 teams at the moment,
absolutely agree
they're
with
exceptional football teams.
But then this is what we're saying. Obviously, in reality, our options are not to try, and our ambition is not to try and get into the top 2.
That's true.
It's not. In reality.
Do you think they'll get into Europe with the players they've signed then? Because that's the ambition for next year, right? Get back into Europe.
Of some sort.
7th, 8th.
I need a midfielder.
Carlos Baleba.
Bring me that and ask me about the top 4.
Linked to Carlos Baleba, central midfielder, of course, at Brighton. They're saying it's unlikely. The reports are they've opened some dialogue, conversation with Brian. It does show their intent, but it's almost like, why are you having the conversation unless you're going to buy him?
No, they're looking to see what a deal would look like.
This summer?
To check. Yes.
This summer. You think they can get him?
Yes. I wouldn't say it's impossible, no. Listen, one thing about Paul Barber and Tony Bloom, the money will have to be spent. Yeah. They will not. Brighton sell players on their own terms. They just turned down massive money in January from Mitoma. Look what happened with Caicedo. They don't sell on the cheap. However, I've been doing maths. I've been doing some maths, Hugh. And if we sell Garnacho for like 40 million plus some add-ons, 100% profit, you can amortize that over a few seasons, so it's more than the 40 million. Jadon Sancho is going to be a light 15. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Minimal, yeah.
So we're looking at about 55 million there. I think you can get 20 million for Anthony. I think you can get that. So we're looking at about 70 odd million.
But how do you know that money hasn't gone into the Sesko deal, for example? Maybe Manchester United have done those maths as well and gone, we can go and get a striker.
No, we haven't. Don't add that bit in. That weren't part of my calculations.
No, because the only question to ask, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking it, is where's all this money come from Man United? I know they're a very, very big club, but they were telling us.
Well, they were very clever.
They weren't profitable, cash strapped.
Mateus Cunha deal hasn't actually gone on this year's deal sheet. That's gone on the financial year before. So a little bit of being smart there. Listen, what we do know is you need to be extremely creative with the new set of guidelines that are in with PSR and being compliant and all that. Ask Chelsea. Ask other teams who are doing business, So, yeah, you do need to be a little bit creative. Man United have been a bit creative.
We're going to come to Newcastle
and we're massive.
United, by the way, a little bit later on. Yeah, ending on we're massive. We'll talk about why Benjamin Sesko's maybe decided to go to Manchester United from 7:45, but we'll also talk about those PSR rules and accounting, whether they should probably be thrown out the window by Newcastle at this stage. If you've got a view on it, 03717 223344. And if you think Man United can possibly get in the picture for top 4 in the Premier League, I think I want to have a conversation with you. 03717 223344. You're listening to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. You're listening to Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. Hugh Woozencroft with you, as is Flex, who, by the way, DJs as well. So when this tune came on, his head started nodding straight away.
What a tune.
Can I just say, Leanne, everyone knows and loves Leanne Sanderson, got married at the weekend.
I saw.
Yeah.
Spoony was
DJ, and that's what this song, that's what I mean. Spoony did an old school garage set, honestly. Unbelievable.
That must have just been... that's the perfect way to get
I would have paid such good money for that set, honestly. DJ Spoony, shout out. Leanne, shout out as well. Great weekend. Great weekend. Beautiful wedding, so congratulations to Leanne and her partner Ellis once again. Anyway, you're listening to Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. I'm Hugh Woozencroft. That is Flex. We'll get back to the transfers shortly, but it's time to get an odds update next on talkSPORT, all thanks to our friends at Ladbrokes.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
It's been a while. Alex Apati, haven't spoken to you for a bit, my friend. How are you? Hope you had a good summer.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, folks. There's only one band or artist I would want at my wedding. You ain't going to get it. It's Boys to Men.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know if you've got the budget for that, but that would be fantastic. Listen, the championship season starts tomorrow night. I know you're a baggy very quickly. Ryan Mason's Army. You looking forward to seeing what they've got?
Yeah, I am. I'm a little concerned. We're a bit of a selling club now. Buy cheap and sell, for more. It's the wonderful world of PSR and whatnot. A little optimistic, I suppose. It's just, we'll touch on them now, but Blues, I feel like I'm more concerned about how Blues are going to get on rather than what West Brom are doing, and that's not a good place to be at the start of the season, is it?
They start tomorrow night at St Andrews, Birmingham, against Ipswich Town. Very tough opening fixture, but they have spent a lot of money. It's almost a difficult one to call, really, because we haven't seen these two playing as yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Blues are favourites. They're 6-4. Ipswich are just shy of 2-1. The draw is just over 2-1. It's not going to come as a shock to you. I think it's a really good price for Ipswich.
Yeah.
I just think objectively right now, Essendon, they're a better team than Birmingham. They haven't lost many players as of yet. Liam Delap and Sam Morsey obviously put a dent in that side, but it's still a really strong championship outfit. They are the away side here, so it probably explains why Blues are slight favourites. But how many have Birmingham brought in? Is it like 9 players now, something like that? I just think they'll do well to fly out of the traps immediately in what will probably be their toughest home game, at least, of the season. Jay Stansfield's 5-1 to open scoring. He's 10-1 to finish the season as top goal scorer, as is George Hurst, who is 13-2 to score first tomorrow night. 5-6 for both teams to score. I think it's a really good price here. I think both are capable. Could be a tasty one. Ipswich to win and both teams to score is 9-2, which is good. But as I say, spoken like a true West Brom fan, I guess. But the 2-1 on Ipswich, there or thereabout, is good enough for me.
Yeah.
He is worried, isn't he? He is worried about the Blues for sure. He can't hide it. He literally can't hide it. Alex, we know how competitive the championship is. What have we got in terms of outright odds? Because it's so difficult to predict, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is also why I think Ipswich are a good price to win tomorrow, because they're favourites to win the league. They're just under 3-1. They're I think probably the strongest team in the division. Of course, they could still lose a few names before the window shuts, but they are favourites. Southampton, again, unsurprisingly, they're 5-1 second favourites. They were 9 points off the automatics 2 years ago. Birmingham are in their third favourites at 6-1.
Wow.
I don't think they'll win. I'm not saying they won't be there or thereabout around the playoffs, but to go and win the league, I just think is too big of an ask. Sheffield United 8-1, Coventry 10-1, and then one name we've not mentioned, Leicester, relegated last year. They were the best of the 3 that came down. I think they finished with twice as many points as Southampton. They're 12-1 to win the championship, which is what they did a couple of years ago. I suppose they are potentially facing a points deduction, which would explain why there is so much of a leap in that price. But I think we've named the winner in there somewhere. I don't think we're going to see a surprise package. What, a West Brom 25-1? I'll keep my money in my pocket on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of those shouts, to be perfectly honest. I even think Birmingham, it will be very tough for them to go from League One champions to Championship champions, but even to be in the automatic promotion picture, if they do that, it would have been an incredible season. Just looking at the fixtures this weekend, there are some blockbusters really at that level. Where do you see the value?
Yeah, so many are tough to call. How many teams are playing on Saturday? How many? Regardless, there are only 4 teams that are odds on to win on Saturday in the championship. It's crazy, isn't it? It's great. Start as we mean to go on. Southampton are in there. They're 7-10, so just shy of even money to beat Wrexham. I do like that. I think Wrexham will get a bit of a brutal welcome to the Championship here, so that will be a good place for me to start. I think you could double that up with both teams to score in Norwich Millwall rather. Norwich are well fancied this season. They've been well backed to even challenge for maybe not an automatic spot, but promotion. Millwall had a good season last time out. They were probably unlucky in the end to miss out on the playoffs. Both teams to score happened in both meetings between the two sides last season. It's around even money here, so that double pays 2-1. And I'm going to throw the West Brom game in there. It's a 10-1 treble by backing a draw with the Baggies against Blackburn. West Brom threw 19 games in total last season, including a 0-0 against Blackburn. I'm not especially optimistic as of yet, but I'm not backing us to lose this one. So Southampton to beat Wrexham, Norwich Millwall, both teams to score, and West Brom Blackburn to draw is around 10-1 with Ladbrokes.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. Good luck for the Baggies this weekend. That was a look at the latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18+, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Right, we had a little chat earlier on about if you change your expectations on Manchester United, given this news that Benjamin Sesko is likely to be confirmed in the kind of next 48 hours or so as a Manchester United player. And we've had some calls on 03717 223344. Let's get straight to them. Mark, good evening, Liverpool fan. What do you think?
Let's see. 13 goals last season? Nah. I think Manchester United have paid well over the odds for a player like Højlund, and I can't see it. Manchester United have gone rushing out to go and get these players. I mean, if you look at it, Sesko 60-odd million. You've got another player, Cunha, who's literally like a hothead, and you've got Mbumio that literally had one really good season. Nah, sorry.
So Cunha's a hothead, and he's been sent off once in his career. So you've bought into that narrative. They've done you with that.
Not really. I mean, if you look at it, it's pretty good. Look at last season. How many times do you have a fight on the side of the pitch?
So,
like,
he was in a relegation battle fighting for Wolves to make sure they stay in the division, which he did, by the way, and showed a bit of passion and fight. How many times have we said at Man United, there's no leaders in there, there's no real characters in there, and now they go on and get one. The narrative moves to he's a hothead when he's been sent off once in his career for showing a bit of fight. And also, if I allude you to Hugo Ekitike, how much did Liverpool pay for him and how many goals did he score in the Bundesliga?
Let's see. Last season, after obviously Mamouche left, he scored 19 last season.
15 goals he scored.
So two more than Sesko.
And the season before that, he scored 4. So he scored 19 goals in 2 seasons. Benjamin Sesko scored 27 in 2 seasons in the Bundesliga. So who's a better player?
Oh, who's a better player?
Mark, he's got you.
It sounds like Liverpool have overpaid for Ekitike here, isn't it?
It's about time that a Man United fan actually got a Liverpool fan to worry about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Mark, I'm sure you're going to have a very strong season. No need to be calling the radio to to be angry about Man United signings at the moment. Things are going.
Do you know what?
Liverpool.
Do you know what?
Be happy.
Nice. Do you know what? Big shout out to Mark. He took it well. It's a good. Listen, Liverpool are absolutely flying. Look what they've been doing in the window. But it is interesting to see that like I say, it changed when Man United start getting players. The fact that people are calling up Rattle saying he's overpriced, he's over this, he's over that. That's how I know we got the right place.
Guess what we've got on the line?
What we got?
Another Liverpool fan.
Oh, come on.
Joel, good evening. What are your thoughts on Sesko?
Evening. Kind of disagree with my fellow fan. I think Ruben's got time to coach. Bruno's going to not have everything on his head, so he's going to have willing runners ahead of him. He's going to be able to cut it up. It's a World Cup year. He's going to be able to concentrate. Everyone's going to want to be impressing, and this is Ruben's time to shine. He's got a whole week between games to coach, and that's when they're going to become even more annoying. We haven't finished. We need more defenders as it is. Everyone's looking at our midfield and attack, but it's about defence as well. So I think it's good times for Man United. If they're ever going to rebuild, it's a blessing not to be in Europe, and this is the time to do it.
Where do you think they'll finish next season?
Ruben. I think you've got a strong chance of top 4, if not top 6. And you know what? I'll make you laugh if you're a Man United fan and you're optimistic. Every time you've released Grand Theft Auto, if it does come out, you've won the championship. But let's hope it's delayed as usual and you don't.
I was about to say it hasn't come out quite.
I like you, Joel. I like you, Joel. It's a sensible Liverpool fan.
I want to be. I like Joel. Update Rockstar Games, finding out when GTA is coming out now. I need to know. It has to be this season. Joel, thank you very much indeed. If you want to keep the calls coming in, 03717 223344. We're going to talk Garnacho to Chelsea after this. Chelsea fans, do you need him? We'll talk to Ben Jacobs, our transfer reporter, after this.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. Something like this?
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision.
It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top level of football refereeing? You can apply to become a referee through your local county FA from as soon as your 14th birthday. After spending several hours either in the classroom or on the pitch, they'll grant you Level 7 status, which allows you to officiate amateur games. Then you'll work your way through the ranks of amateur football, not reaching the National League until Level 2. It's a long process, bearing in mind every level from 7 upwards takes an average of a year. Also, there's no specific number of games you have to ref or hours you have to log before moving on up. You simply just have to be good enough. Once you're Level 2 and have enough experience at a National League level, you can apply to the EFL to become a Level 1 referee. Then it's on you to get enough experience to climb through the ranks and eventually become a Premier League referee. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough to officiate games in the top flight. So if you want to make it to the top, there's less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of doing it, and it'll take you a decade to get there.
Yes, this is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Both of our heads started nodding straight away. Tune. Just putting it out there. Big tune.
Big tune.
I'm Hugh Woozencroft. That is Flex. This is the Transfer Insiders. If you want to get involved in the conversation, 03717 223344. We're going to be talking about Chelsea next. Alejandro Garnacho, generally, that news you heard, that Manchester United have had contact from Chelsea over a prospective move. Reports today, United want more than 40 million. Chelsea think they can get him for less. Let's get the details from talkSPORT's transfer reporter, Ben Jacobs. Good evening.
Evening, gents. How are you?
Evening, Ben.
Very well indeed. As a United fan, want to get as much money in the door as possible, but understand the situation around Garnacho is a difficult one. I'd probably rather see them just cut their losses at this stage. What do you think is going to happen with this move?
Yeah, it's pure profit, isn't it? And with Benjamin Sesko arriving, Manchester United need to focus on outgoings, especially if they're to strengthen in midfield and maybe even add a goalkeeper in some capacity. Manchester United have a clear asking price communicated to Chelsea, as we revealed earlier in the day exclusively on talkSPORT. Club-to-club talks are underway and now starting to advance. £50 million is what Manchester United are looking for. That's down by about 10 or 15 million from their January price when Chelsea also inquired. Chelsea's perspective is Manchester United need a bit of a fire sale. It's late in the window. The player would prefer to leave. He's surplus to requirements anyway from Manchester United's perspective. All of these are indicators that maybe suggest the price can drop. So we'll have to wait and see whether the clubs meet halfway. But Chelsea are confident. Garnacho wants the move, and I would be surprised if Alejandro Garnacho isn't a Chelsea player before the window is out.
Is there a minimum bar, Ben, that Man United won't go below, where they just think, okay, you're taking the mick with this Chelsea, we'll risk it, and you know, Alejandro could potentially still be at the club?
Yeah, I think probably anything under 30 million would be dismissed. Some say 30 to 35 million, which is Chelsea's starting valuation, is still too low. I suppose if you get to the point where there's a gulf, maybe they even have to discuss something more like the Jadon Sancho move, where Chelsea can try before they buy, do a loan conditional obligation with an override penalty. Whether or not Manchester United would go
Ben,
for that, I'm not sure.
That can't happen.
Well, you get loan fee, you get wage coverage, you get an obligation.
No, and then they pay 5 million and send it. No, we've got protection.
So Jim might be happy about that.
For 30, 35 million, and when you add that up plus the penalty, I think that's the same with Jadon Sancho, that if Sancho goes for 17 to 20 odd million, and they've got their 5 million, and they've got their wage coverage from his loan at Chelsea, then all in, you're still at 25. It's just taken you more than one window and maybe more than one season to get the full valuation. It's still better for Manchester United. They do it that way and get an overall high number with a more flexible formula than they just go so low that actually it's pure profit, but not enough to allow them to move in the market. And every million, 5 million, 10 million, I sense counts, not to offset Benjamin Sesko so much as allowing Manchester United to still maybe bring in one or two more.
I see the move from Chelsea for Garnacho as something. It's their accounting again. It's somehow them trying to balance the books. I don't think they want Alejandro Garnacho for the long term. There is no way anyone reads the reports of how his behaviour's been, sees what he does on social media, and thinks that's our guy. We want to spend some money to bring him in. Now, maybe they think it's a bit of a bargain. Maybe they think, you know, any other time he probably would be a £50 million player. Maybe they could move him on in a year or two and maybe double their money, they're thinking. So maybe it is, again, from an accounting perspective, a really good move. But attitude-wise, knowing what I know about Enzo Maresca, I mean, I don't see how these two see eye to eye, get on a daily basis with the attitude, you know, the kind of desire to play that Garnacho has shown, i.e. put me in the team or else, that he's going to fit in at Stamford Bridge. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think the only caveat to that is there were question marks over the application at Manchester United of Jadon Sancho, and he was very well liked, and his application was very strong at Chelsea. Different manager, different dressing room, different culture. There's always two sides to every story. It's really easy when a player of the prodigious talent of Garnacho, you think about that incredible overhead kick goal that he scored. That's the high ceiling. That's what he's capable of. That's why Manchester United are saying if Noni Madueke is 50 plus million, Alejandro Garnacho is at least least 50 million.
Agreed.
So I think we might see, as we saw with Marcus Rashford as well, having a spike in form when he was on loan at Aston Villa. Let's see if that continues at Barcelona. But all I would say is the players that leave, whether rightly or wrongly, because there's two sides, will point back to this pattern of Sancho unhappy, of Rashford unhappy, of Garnacho unhappy. And ultimately, when it's more than one player, I'm sure those players, if they find their form elsewhere, would say the problem's not me, it's Manchester United. But of course, the flip side is Manchester United may say, we're watching you day on day train and you're not a fit here. So let's see whether it's a consistent pattern. But I think somebody's going to sign Garnacho, likely Chelsea, and really get the best out of him. And then remember, you've got Giovanni Quenda, who doesn't arrive for another year on the left wing. Tyreek George could depart. Jadon Sancho got returned. And in addition to that, Mikhailo Mudryk is unavailable because he's fighting to clear his name against an anti-doping violation charge. So I think Chelsea genuinely think it needs to be Gittins and Garnacho on the left. It needs to be Pedro Neto and Esteval Willian on the right. It's Liam Delap and probably João Pedro up top. And then it's Cole Palmer and very possibly Xavi Simons and or Christopher Nkunku, should he somehow end up staying through the centre. So people say Chelsea are overstocking, but it's really just two main names in each position.
This is what happens when you break down Chelsea. It always happens, you know. You think that there's no method to their madness. You think that, I don't understand what they're doing. They're stockpiling players. How can they afford this? And then when you just take a step, I've done this, I've kind of learnt my lesson. You just take a little step back and go, hold on a minute. They've actually got a good team. And then you go, hold on a minute. Maresca's doing all right. You go, hold on a minute. They've sold a lot of players. So I'll be honest. What Chelsea are doing...
Title push this year?
Absolutely.
Think so?
Yeah. I don't think they'll win it. But I think
the conversation.
Yeah, I think Ben's right. The way Ben just broke it down with everybody's basically saying one thing, but when you actually look at it on paper, it's just basically two decent names in every position. Whether or not I think Garnacho levels them up is a different conversation. But if you buy Jamie Gittins for 55 million quid,
Gittins and Garnacho, young players,
that fits the mould.
So yeah, but tough to go out there and win us a title.
Oh, of course,
very difficult.
Yeah, they won't win the league.
Same with Willian Esteval. Delap's just come from Ipswich. You know, João Pedro. First time any of these players really have the responsibility of being in the title conversation. That's why I'm kind of doubtful. But they're obviously very talented players.
Yeah.
Ben, what else have you got in terms of transfers at the moment that you're keeping a close eye on?
Yeah, there's a few things. So to reiterate, Benjamin Sesko on his way this evening to Manchester, medical formalisation in the next few days, 85 million euros total package. The add-ons in that deal at 8.5 million euros, and they're easily attainable. We have Ilya Zabanyi, who's getting very close to Paris Saint-Germain, an agreement of 63 million euros for the fixed fee. They're finalising the add-ons, and PSG are very confident. Lucas Chevalier, the young goalkeeper, has joined from Lille to the French champions. That's significant because now we have to keep an eye on Donnarumma and understand whether or not he's going to see out his contracts. He's not going to be offered a new one, or alternatively, if there's going to be a window of opportunity late in the window to get a really good deal there. I was told the other day that PSG want in excess of £30 million. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, but it's kind of like Milan and Mike Maignan, who's also got a year left on his contract. There's a high valuation. We'll see if any Premier League clubs that have been linked, even though there's not much substance at the moment, genuinely move. But I think that one's one to watch. And then with goalkeepers, Mads Hermansen, the Leicester City goalkeeper, is on his way to West Ham United for a fee in the region of £18 million. Personal terms already agreed. And West Ham, now they've got that Mohamed Kudus money in, starting to move and finally make some signings.
I've got two more to ask you about, Ben. First of all, of course, I'm going to be Man United centric because Man United fans want to know as well. Sorry, Ben's here. We have to ask him this. Carlos Baleba. We saw reports yesterday saying that Manchester United have made contact with Brighton through intermediaries to discuss what a deal could look like, although it sounds very difficult. First of all, what's your understanding on that? And secondly, I wanted to ask you on the latest on Jack Grealish and his situation potentially / with Everton, maybe others.
I did a Manchester United podcast earlier and I inadvertently started the hashtag Don't Stop Believing because Manchester United fans are thinking, could this be possible?
Come on, Hugh, don't stop believing. Come on, Hugh, come on.
I want to sell some players. Can we sell some players?
We will.
The outgoings might fund something in midfield, but obviously what I think a lot of people don't realise, as we saw with Moises Caicedo, is Brighton are not out there quoting a price. So you'll hear a lot of numbers banded around, but I can guarantee you, even to a prospective buyer like Manchester United, Brighton are not quoting anything. Their model is to run data, have a book valuation, have a selling valuation as well. And if a suitor gets in the ballpark, they may engage, but they won't be giving any encouragement on this one. And as you say, the talks were via intermediaries. Paul Barber, the very well-respected Brighton CEO, did an interview last night at a fans forum, and he said he's had no contact yet directly with Manchester United. So let's see if it develops. It would probably be their most expensive deal of the entire window and surpass the fee that they've just put down for Benjamin Sesko, which obviously makes it difficult. Players open to the move, by the way, but I think there is a scenario, and this is Brighton's preference, to not sell now to allow him to leave in a year's time. So we'll have to understand if Man United are just doing legwork with a view to 12 months' time, or if somehow they can drive a price down that at the moment they don't even know, but as I say, will likely be a whole lot higher than the Benjamin Sesko package. And then with Jack Grealish, Everton are in talks. They only want a loan due to the cost of a deal. Could change a little bit if Jack Grealish decides to drop his wage significantly. I think it'd have to be both. Man City would have to sanction a loan and Grealish would have to agree to adjust his wage. But what gives Everton a bit of encouragement, and West Ham, by the way, have looked in the past too. I know we've had links with sort of Tottenham and Aston Villa return and all of that, but these are clubs, other than being aware of the situation, they're not moving at this point. But what gives Everton a little bit of hope is the fact that Grealish isn't only thinking about the wage in domestic football. He knows, because he's been told directly from Thomas Tuchel, if he plays regularly, he could be in the World Cup plans. And that's probably the difference between Tuchel and Gareth Southgate. Southgate had a project. Southgate was prioritising youth. Southgate was trying to build something over many tournaments, and that, to an extent, informed his selection. You look at Tuchel and he's thinking, who can I pick today, tomorrow, and at the tournament that's going to win me a World Cup? So Jordan Henderson goes to Sunderland, in the mix. Ivan Toney's in Saudi, in the mix. If Ben Chilwell leaves Chelsea and plays regularly, in the mix. And it's exactly the same for Jack Grealish. So I think Grealish probably will make a wage concession simply because he wants the move to play every week with that World Cup in mind. And it's Everton at the moment that are the most concrete option, and they're in direct club-to-club talks with Man City about the possibility of a loan.
If I'm Spurs, I go and do that deal for a loan. 100%. In the Champions League with the injury to Maddison.
Definitely.
So we'll see if there's any movement, whether anyone at Spurs is listening. Go and get Jack Grealish, because I think he'd fit in very nicely. Ben Jacobs, thank you very much indeed. talkSPORT's transfer reporter, who's very busy at the moment, and you'll be hearing much more of him as we approach the deadline in, just over 3 weeks' time. You're listening to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. It's 18+, begambleaware.org. We'll be talking Newcastle United and their misplaced anger after this. This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Hugh Woozencroft alongside Flex with you. We're going to be joined after 8 o'clock by Troy Deeney. We're going to spend a full hour looking ahead to the start of the Championship season, so make sure if you're an EFL fan, you're with us for that. In the meantime, Flex and I want to talk about Manchester United. Should I give you the floor? Excuse me, Newcastle United.
Not necessarily just me, but okay. Do you know what? I have to do a disclaimer before doing this. I like Newcastle United. I like their players. I like Eddie Howe. I love the city. I love the people. I love it.
Yeah, watching football there is incredible.
Watching football there is incredible, right? And this is what I'm about to say is to the misguided Newcastle United fans, not the ones who actually get how the football hierarchy works. Yeah? Stop being mad at Man United for just being bigger than you. That's it. That's it. In football, it doesn't matter that you finish higher than Man United or you got a trophy last year and Man United didn't, and you're in the Champions League and Man United aren't. Like, in the grand scheme of things, when players are coming to the Premier League, you have to understand that isn't always going to be enough in your position. There are still levels to the size and magnitude of the club. And take Benjamin Sesko, for example. I'll just start with him because there's another 9 players who've also turned down Newcastle United. It can't all just be Benjamin Sesko's fault and Man United. Benjamin Sesko isn't wowed by the fact that Newcastle United won a Carabao Cup. I'm ecstatic for Newcastle that they won that. I followed the journey, really wanted them to win, massive for the city. First trophy in 50 years. But what it means outside of the Newcastle United bubble shouldn't be overdone. And I feel like some Newcastle United fans, and I mean some, only the ones who'd sort of been coming at me saying, why does he want to go to Man United? Doesn't he understand it's not 2008 when Tevez and Rooney in there, or Ronaldo? No, it's because it's Manchester United. It's that simple. Like, I don't even think you should be mad at Eddie Howe. Don't even be mad at your owners. It's just the food chain. There's just a food chain of football that exists. And Newcastle United are trying to break into that, which is proving difficult. And we're going to talk about PSR. But in terms of being completely perplexed that somebody like Benjamin Sesko would choose Man United over Newcastle United, I don't understand. And also, I heard somebody call up, I think it was to Gabby or I can't remember who it was, and saying, the only reason why Man United are able to do that is because they gave more wages. Well, Florian Plettenberg's put the details out, and Man United have offered less wages. Benjamin Sesko has waived his right to get more wages. Man United have offered less transfer fee to Leipzig. So how has it happened then? Because he just wants to go to Manchester United. Yeah. That's it. Don't be mad at us. It's just how it goes.
There were some silly... listen, I've been listening over the last couple of days. Some really silly calls. I get it. The one standout thing is Champions League football next season for 1 year. Nothing after that is guaranteed at Newcastle or Manchester United. So all he knows is if I go to Newcastle, I'll play Champions League next year. If I go to Manchester United, I won't play in Europe at all. That's really the only other consideration in terms of Newcastle being ahead of Manchester United. Yeah, they're playing well at the moment. They're finishing higher over I get it, but it's just such a huge football club. It's difficult for any player to turn down. By the way, I don't think that's disrespectful to Newcastle.
No, but I think it is, and they get angry.
Because I think they know there's a food chain. They don't expect players to go to Leeds United over Newcastle United. They understand that a player's going to choose and they know all the reasons why. I just feel like the club's become a bit of a laughing stock in terms of the multiple players turning them down, and I actually think it's just a reaction.
It is. I think it's what I mean. Man United with a straw that broke comes back. Arts Brian and Bumo, Arts João Pedro, Arts James Trafford. James Trafford got a chance to go and be Newcastle United #1. Yeah. Why did he not take that?
By the way, I got in trouble for this. Now, this is what I wanted to say on Newcastle United and PSR, because I actually think they're still wrong to blame PSR for the issues. I'm one of those. Yeah. I'm one of those that I think PSR should exist.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have a tight hold on Newcastle.
It's hurting them, Hugh.
It shouldn't have a tight hold on Newcastle.
I do feel for them for that.
There probably should be a mechanism by which Newcastle say, we've got so much money, we can put £500 million in a side account with the Premier League, and if we ever hit the buffers, you just dip into that. The club's going to be fine, right? And that should allow a mechanism for them to spend more, in my opinion. And I think PSR will evolve and they will create that, because it's just silly for a club as much as Newcastle. But let me tell you now, if Newcastle truly wanted to push themselves to win the Premier League, they would be spending more. They would be finding a way. Chelsea found a way. They're spending, over the last 3 years since the new owners came in, what,
but
$2 billion?
Got a higher capacity than them. Their income's higher.
I get it.
That's what it's down to.
But their income's higher because They sold some hotels to themselves. They sold the women's team to
No,
themselves.
but the income's high because it's just a bigger club.
They're buying players and selling them a year later. They're doing whatever
they're
doing
found
what
creative loopholes.
They're finding creative loopholes. This is the point that I'm making.
I agree with that.
But the club it doesn't desire to do that. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying look at your club's actions. You can't sit there and bemoan. And I get it. The rules have changed subsequently. But Manchester City did what they did. The rules changed. Chelsea started doing what they've done. The rules have changed to try and stop that. I get it. They got in before the door slammed shut at those two clubs. And Newcastle saying, how comes they can do it and we can't do it?
Yeah.
But if you look at your own club's actions, your club's not trying to do that.
No, I think that's harsh.
Are Newcastle trying to go and spend £250 million this summer?
Yes, they can't.
They wouldn't.
I think that's
I can tell you now, even if they could, they wouldn't be out there. These owners have not shown, except for when they were about to get relegated, that they wanted to go and spend big money. They haven't.
I think you're being a bit harsh. I take some of your points in terms of where there's a will, there's a way. Get more creative.
Others have broken. Nottingham Forest are off to Europe. They took their points deduction. They spent whatever they felt they needed to spend. And they were off to Europe.
But they didn't. But they didn't.
I'm not saying go wild.
I just think with Newcastle United,
you can break the rules. You can get a point deduction. You can still be wildly successful.
But with PSR, you're incentivizing making young players or developing young players and selling them. Look what they had to do with Elliot Anderson and that Vlachodimos situation. Like, they had to make that happen. And this is where, although I'm having a bit of a moan at the Newcastle United fans coming at Man United, I've dealt with that. I do feel for them in terms of their frustration at PSR. It's the same for Aston Villa, because
Villa found a loophole.
Right, but there's still a very quiet summer at the moment. They still haven't signed a player.
But it allowed them to go and spend more. It allowed them to go and get a Rashford.
Yeah, and look, if they sell Isak, then they're going to get 150 million.
But my point is, the loopholes are there. It's all been shown to Newcastle United. This is not a criticism of the club. They want to stay within the rules. They don't want to push the boundaries.
So you're punishing maybe doing it the right way. And avoiding fines. That's the whole point of it.
But my point is, we can't make the assumption that if it wasn't for PSR, Newcastle would run out, spend hundreds and hundreds of millions.
Well, they've got the money to do it.
They've got the money to do it, but again, they have never, apart from when they were threatened with relegation and they needed desperately to bring in quality players.
I think that's harsh.
What do you mean?
That's harsh. I think that's. I think you're being harsh at the fact that PSR isn't hurting them, and that basically they could just do more.
No,
it's not as easy as that.
I'm not saying there are no PSR constraints over Newcastle.
There's a lot.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, do you actually look at the situation and say, if it wasn't for PSR,
yes,
Newcastle would be going out buying all the best players in the world? They wouldn't be. They've not shown that desire.
I'll tell you why they wouldn't, and this goes back to the food chain, because of Newcastle United. It's still going to take time for players to be like, do you know what? I'm going to go there over Real Madrid, over Man United, over Arsenal, over Liverpool, over Bayern Munich. They're not going to be able to just... Can't just go and buy Mbappe.
They're not asking that question. They don't want to ask that question.
They're not ready to ask.
No, they could. You're telling me they've got the money that they've got and they want to go and spend it, then they would be asking that question. Other clubs have. They are not that club. As much as we say Man City and Chelsea have done what they've done,
because of the history and what they've done, and
Newcastle do not want to operate like Chelsea, or like Manchester. They just
that's fine. Yeah, but that's fine.
But that means you're getting onto them.
But then you're not
as if they would be going.
You're basically encouraging them to say break the rules and get a fine.
Well, I am.
What's it?
Right. If that's what you want to be,
but they don't know.
If they don't want to be that, then I don't understand the level of complaint. That's all I'm saying. We need to break.
So you're saying
we're getting shouted at.
I don't get that. So you're saying break the rules, be rule breakers, and get fines.
Have others done it?
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
Have they been successful?
I wouldn't want that for my club.
Listen, the punishments are meek. For a reason.
Pay the fine.
The Premier League sets the Premier League clubs run the Premier League. And funny enough, if you break the rules, the punishment's barely anything.
So take the fine and you'll be all right. And then
take the fine, anyway. Take a 5-6 point deduction and go and spend what you want. If that's really what you want to do. I'm not saying spend billions.
Yeah.
But if you just want to break it by a little 5 mil,
please,
a little 10 mil, a little 15 mil, we can't. We can't. We're talking EFL straight after this.
Later on in the show.
Yeah, later on the show, after 9 o'clock. If you really want to have a go at me, we can come back to Newcastle United. In the meantime, for the next hour, we're talking EFL. Troy Deeney will be with us, so stay tuned for that.
wondered why Erling Haaland scores a hat-trick instead of just 3 goals? Why Darwin Núñez is said to have missed a sitter rather than just missing a really easy shot? Or why on earth defenders are said to park the bus? Let's break down some of our favourite football cliches. First, let's talk hat-tricks. The term comes from cricket back in the 1800s. Any bowler who managed to get 3 successive wickets used to be rewarded with a hat from their club. Next up, if you see a skillful tackle, an athletic save or a 40-yard screamer, you might say these things are out the top drawer. That's because back in Victorian times, if you had wealth, valuable stuff, you kept it in the top drawer of your dresser, so loaded families became known as top drawer. Remember the last time your team left you feeling as sick as a parrot? The image of the sick bird is thought to come from a classic British comedy moment, Monty Python's Dead Parrot sketch, but the phrase was first used in football by Liverpool defender Phil Thompson. He supposedly said it after Liverpool lost to Nottingham Forest in the 1978 League Cup final. Forest won thanks to a controversial penalty given away by a Thompson foul, even though it was actually outside the box. Poor guy said he felt sick as a parrot afterwards. Is there anything more embarrassing than a nutmeg in football? Weird name, but it's actually related to the trading of nutmeg, the spice. It was so expensive back in the day that corrupt exporters used to try and mix in a bit of wood in with the nutmeg to cut their costs. The term soon became slang. If you were nutmegged, it was because the person you were buying off had pulled a fast one on you. Jose Mourinho brought a lot of things to English football, and seems like one of those was the phrase "park the bus." He used it after his Chelsea side had been held to a goalless draw by Spurs in 2004. Tottenham had been extremely defensive, not trying to score, but making sure Chelsea couldn't either. Mourinho actually said, "They brought the bus and left the bus in front of the goal," as we say in my country. Finally, another phrase that actually comes from cricket. Footballers are said to have missed a sitter if they miss an easy chance. In the late 19th century, it was used in cricket to describe a moment when a fielder failed to take a catch which was so easy they should have been able to catch it sitting down. So there you have it, some of your favourite footballing cliches. And if you think this video is all over, well, it is now.
You're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I'm Hugh Woozencroft alongside Flex. This hour we're going to build up to the start of what's sure to be another incredible season of Championship football. All kicks off with a big game at St Andrews between newly promoted Birmingham City and newly relegated Ipswich Town here on talkSPORT tomorrow night. We're looking ahead to it in a moment with the former Birmingham captain Troy Deeney. Also, Charlton fans, are you happy to be back in the Championship? Well, Chairman Gavin Carter is. He's going to join us at 8:30 p.m. Give us a call if you like, 03717 223344. And just after 9 p.m, we'll have the latest from talksport.com/some angry Newcastle fans. We'll see. This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. So the Championship starts tomorrow. talkSPORT is your home of the EFL, and we've got you covered.
Johnson plays it through. Smolix is onside. Smolix hits it through the legs of Edison, and it's in. What a start for Ipswich Town.
It's going to be tough. I think we're going to be, made to work for every single point.
Goes right to Harmer into the penalty area, shooting and scoring. A lightning break from Sheffield United.
Wrexham able to build from that. Ollie Rappo, edge of the area, right-footed shot, and a screamer to open the scoring, and the racecourse crowd.
Good ball inside the area, and Stansfield does it again. And Birmingham City have turned this around, and they lead.
Well, I want these players to know they have all the support they need for them to go out there and accomplish their goals.
And then Downs! And Flynn Downs has driven in the equaliser, and Southampton have come up with the equalising goal. Gets the cross in left-footed, Radoni! Coventry lead! Comes back to Ayew, hits it well! Hits it into the bottom corner! 2-0 to Leicester City!
We are back for the start of the Championship season tomorrow night, as I mentioned. Birmingham taking on Ipswich Town. I love it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. all the drama that you'd expect from the English football pyramid, I think, is lived out, especially in the Championship, because it just means so much, doesn't it? One person who knows it well, Troy Deeney, is here with us, former Birmingham City striker. Just for the Championship chat, we're going to call you former Birmingham City striker. Is that all right?
Yeah, whatever you want to call me, it's fine. I just don't want no trouble. I know Flex is annoying people at the door. No trouble. It's my first day back. Be nice.
Well, first day back, and there is one thing we want to say to you.
Yeah.
You've done great so far on SAS.
I said there's a bot coming out.
No,
there's no bot. There's no bot, Troy.
We're very proud of you here at
Thank you
talkSPORT
very much.
for being open in your conversations. Number one, I think that's very important, but also what you're doing in terms of trials. Don't want to give anything away. There's plenty of people watching at home, but what was the experience like for you?
Unbelievable. Obviously, I know you got Bayo in there as well, Akin Fenway. He was obviously in the same thing. And it was good. Obviously, there's different attributes to get people through different things, but for me mostly it's my mind, and when that starts to go, and I'm sure you'll see as this goes, like it does start to go, and I react differently, but I think it's a wonderful experience, and if you ever get the opportunity to do it, honestly, it's so good. It's changed my life so much.
I was watching. I'm on the first 2 episodes, and I have to say, like, no spoilers, but I love the part of it where the hard man Troy kind of goes to the side a little bit. You open up with some stuff, man, which is really, really good to see. And you talk about those things that are helping you tick and why you're there. I thought that was really, really powerful.
Oh, thank you very much.
So it was good stuff.
I just think, again, like with everything, if you can help one person, that's what you need to do. But not trying to be no hero or anyone's like, I don't know, role model, just trying to be me, and this is my life, my story. And throughout the course of the whole course, you'll see me go through loads of different, like the good, the bad, the ugly. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I deal with. And I think we all deal with stuff, don't we? Like, let's call it as it is. We all deal with it. So just try and be that, and hopefully I'll make it to the end. And obviously I can't spoil it, but you'll see how it all plays out. But let's talk football, man. We're talking about the best team.
Well, you've been
best team in the Championship. That's the only team you want to talk about.
You see now?
That's all you want to talk about.
You don't want no trouble. And now look.
We're going to come to Watford in a few moments' time, okay? We'll talk about Birmingham City after 15:15. But just initially, looking ahead to the Championship season, what are your expectations? It feels quite open.
It's better. It's better than it's been in the last 3 or 4 years. I think when you look at, you can make an argument for all of the teams that have came down now, because what happened to Luton, you can say Ipswich looked best placed to go and win, because they didn't lose too many pieces in terms of, obviously they lost a lap, but they've also got Hurst in there. A lot of expectation on him. They've brought Ashley Young in now to kind of steady the momentum. But you would argue if they don't get off to a good start, like Luton didn't, it could snowball very, very quickly. They've become accustomed to losing now. That's what happens when you're in the Prem. I think Southampton, who knows? Loads to talk about whether Dibley will be there, a new manager, a great coach who we've seen online and what he can do, but it's all been in the French league. Does that transition into the Championship? We'll soon see. Leicester, they're all over the place. Lost massive pieces. Again, everyone talks about Vardy. Losing Connor Cody is huge. You know what he does to that place. So it's like that. But finally, when teams come up from League One now, Wrexham, Birmingham, Charlton, they're not scared. They're going, all right, then let's fight this challenge. I think Charlton will go probably just try and survive, if we're being fair, because I think that it was kind of a season too early for them to get up. It's great that they're up and they're a big club, but I think Wrexham have really gone for it with the signings that
they got a chance, Wrexham. Just on Wrexham quick, because
playoffs. Playoffs,
you see the story and you think, this ain't. I don't know how this is going to work, and then you start to get invested in it, and then you see the promotions. Well, look what Ipswich did. I know it's a little bit different, but
yeah, that's our thing. The Blues are going to do that. We'll get onto that in a minute. but what? All seriousness though, when you look at Wrexham, my only concern was the style of play that they have, which is a 3-5-2, wing backs, loads of crosses in the box. You think that would take you through League 2, League 1, and you think you'd hit the Championship and there'd be a bit of a ceiling. But the problem you've got now is no one really defends anymore.
Yeah.
So now them playing that style with Big Kiefer Moore there as well now, with Fletch as well, and they've got Jay Rodriguez, all lads who know about the Championship, how it is to get up. I think they're going to be a handful. I think they're going to probably fall a little bit short in the leg department. I think because a lot of the lads they're signing are older. Yeah. But when you look at it, if you're going to come up against the Coventrys, the Middlesbroughs, who I think are going to be up there as well this year, I think they're going to go, do you know what? If we set up sharp and just hit them with a set piece and the counter-attacks, they're going to be in it.
Let's talk about the teams going down, because they weren't great. They didn't put their best version of themselves out there in the Premier League last year. Have you gone down from the Premier League and stayed in the Championship? No, you didn't.
No. Little bit of respect.
No. I just
He's like, don't ask me that question. Come on. I got relegated twice, but we bounced.
I was wondering. Yeah, that's what I meant in terms.
And then they got rid of me, and they've struggled to. Listen, it's not about me.
No, but I wanted to ask you.
See, he starts it,
No, but so the answer is yes, and that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
In terms of going down and then trying to be a team that turns themselves straight into winners once again. What's that process like? You were a captain as well in terms of leading the change.
So the easiest thing you need to assess, and Watford did this very well, to be fair to them. They do a lot of things wrong, but they do some things great. They assess who's going to stay and who's going to go. They just looked at it from a purely numbers point of view, and they were like, right, these top earners, you need to go. So let's talk about the last time we went down. We had myself, Daddy Welbert, João Pedro, Ismail Sarr, Andre Gray, Ben Foster. We had like an unbelievable team. Etienne Capoue, all of that went. We got relegated. So they went, right, we could build with João because he's young. We could keep Sarr because he's young. They're staying. Troy Welbs, you lot are over there. Delafeu, well, there's like 8 of us.
Decore there as well.
Decore was in it. Caps was in it. Etienne Capoue was in it. Fozzie, they decided to keep Fozzie because they wanted a goal that could keep them straight up. But then for the rest of us, it was like, go find yourself clubs. And we didn't play in the first 6-7 games until the window was short. A few of us were left. It was like, right, you guys back in. Now you're here. Let's just make it work.
So you were supposed to leave then?
Yeah, that's the year I need join Spurs. Yeah. So I did join Spurs in that year. So, but we couldn't get that done. But it was basically they just assessed, right? No offense, lads, you lot are on too much money. Go over there. And we trained away for the lads. We obviously was helpful, but because they were transparent, so you knew where you stood. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you'd liked it or not was different. But I think that the teams that come down and struggle, you've seen it with Luton, is ego. People think they've had one season in the Prem and I'm a Prem player now. It's like, no. Get to 100 games. Then you're a Prem player. I know it's a very old cliche thing. Yeah. Do that. And then more importantly, when you come down and you've been humbled, your ego now has to be, right, I'm going to show you every single week why we are levels above you lot. And I remember we'd play some games in the Championship the year we got promoted again. We were so bad. And we were just like, do you know what? Just pass it to Isma. Isma's going to run past 5 of them. And then he'll cross it and João will score. It was just like that. We looked around our team. Bear in mind, the year we got promoted, right?
He told me to have some respect.
But we did. We had Isma Sarr, who you see what he is now. João Pedro, you see what he is now. Will Hughes, myself, Andre Gray, Tom Cleverley, Nathaniel Chalobah, Dan Gosling. It was a joke of a team. Fozzie in goal. It was a scandal when you think about it. It was a scandal.
Do you see any Championship teams now? With the teams that have come down, I know you're saying Ipswich are kind of.
I think Leicester
place. Did you see any of them Prem teams who have something similar like what Watford had that time, where it's like actually we've got some players
I can see
should
Ipswich.
be kind of straight back.
The only thing I was disappointed with Ipswich last year, having watched them about 8-9 times, was they in my opinion, they tried to be a Premier League team. Yeah. I think when you go to the Prem, and again, we have this thing of the last 3 years where it's like, the teams go up, they come straight back down. Well, just look the years before. Brentford stayed up when we went up, they stayed up. Fulham, the year after, stayed up. We don't even talk about these guys up until this season now with Brentford potentially being in relegation problems. But what they did, we got a big target man. We all did the same thing. Watford had me, thankfully. Fulham had Mitrovic, and Brentford had Ivan.
Yeah.
Right, play to the big man. Let's stay in the game as long as we can, set pieces, rough people up, use it to our advantage, and then window on window, add more quality. But what you see now, they go and buy all these players, they get 10, 15 players in the first window, start playing the style of football out from the back, get caught. Oh, do you know what, we need to change it now. Actually, we've got no money to change it now. So what should we do? You can't go compete with these Prem guys. I can't explain it to you guys until, best way I could describe it, and I spoke to Bayo about this. The first game we played against Everton, the first time I got promoted, I'd been on the back of 3 20-plus season goals. So I was feeling myself. I had a really good pre-season. I was good. Played against John Stones. The ball got turned down the wing, and I'm sprinting, and I'm ahead of him, and I'm like, right, when you get there, and I just went, wait there, he just ran past me. And he just ran past me. And again, speed's not my strongest suit, but I'm not no slouch. And he just ran straight past me, and I was like, oh my God.
Different level.
There's a level to what you need to do. And then also you'll get a chance. And in the first 5-6 games, I didn't score. And I got 2 chances in each game, and I missed. In a champ, you're like, I'm going to get 4, 5, 6, and 7. In the Prem, the lads are going, you've had 2 shots, why haven't you scored?
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
You know, it just the fine margins are so fine that once you're behind, you very rarely come back and win. So you have to stick in it and make it as uncomfortable and as aggressive as you can.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about the title contenders in the Championship straight after this. That's the voice of Troy Deeney, the former Watford captain. Flex is here. I'm Hugh Woozencroft, and you're listening to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. It's 18+, begambleaware.org.
City have been promoted to the Championship for the first time of asking.
There is a lot of expectation how things have changed at Birmingham City.
I think it's going to be really, really competitive next year. I can see Birmingham being right up there.
It's going to be a great season ahead. I can't wait to get started.
Birmingham City to finish top, obviously.
You actually think they're going to finish top?
Of course. Why not?
And on the follow-up, Stansfield puts it in.
We have to surround each other with a group of people that allow us to all be successful. That's what makes a great team.
They've only won here once all season, and that's the bottom line, and that is pretty much the relegation picture all but done and dusted. Ipswich 1, Wolves 2.
I thought Ipswich would have done a lot better.
There'll certainly be things that we look back on and think that we got right, and there'll certainly be things that we look back on that we think maybe we could have done that a little bit differently.
Ipswich, I do think, are the favourites for the league.
Davis delivers high, left-footed! The stomping header is in, and would you believe it? It's Connor
Chaplin!
I look at Ipswich's squad and think they're more than well equipped to go straight back up.
Here we go. The EFL is back on the talkSPORT network. It's bigger and better than ever before. And what better way to start?
An incredible weekend of live championship commentaries coming your way across the talkSPORT network. We'll have Birmingham's game against Ipswich live and exclusive here on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Saturday lunchtime, Southampton Wrexham also here, but on talkSPORT 2 Saturday lunchtime, you can hear Coventry against Hull at 3 o'clock. It'll be West Brom against Blackburn, 5:30, Sheffield United against Bristol City as well. Plenty to come from the championship. And on Sunday, we'll have Leicester City against Sheffield Wednesday from 4:30. Those games live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2. You're listening to Transfer Insiders. I'm Hugh Woozencroft. Troy Deeney, the former Birmingham captain, is here, as is broadcaster Flex. And let's take a look now at the latest football action with Ladbrokes.
The big preview on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
So, Troy, we heard you in the little package there saying you think Birmingham City are going to win the title. It's big for the club to be back in the championship. Chris Davis, what was it, 111 points in League One? Absolutely incredible. And that, of course, is going to lift hopes coming back into the second tier, particularly when you think about Ipswich, who just very recently, came through League One, straight through the championship and into the Premier League. What do you believe is truly capable with this team?
I genuinely believe that they can get promoted again. Whether that be, listen, when you say top, obviously that's going to be very, very difficult. But look at who they've signed. Look at the players that they've got, not just for this window, but from last year. I just look at it, and it can't be understated or underplayed just how good of a job the manager has done. Chris Davis, he's completely changed that whole build in the ethos. Obviously, we just had a chat with Tom Brady not too long ago for the station. You see the things that Tom wants to improve, and the owner Tom Wagner as well. And
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady and Tom Wagner they want to improve it. But it's also having loads of money, and not even to get you started, but Man United had loads of money over the last 10 years. Yeah. You can get it wrong very quickly, very easily. Yep. But you need a manager that's in place, and I believe this with Man United to be true as well, that goes, right, here's what we are, here's what we're going to do, this isn't changing. And then the players have to mould to that. And Birmingham were in a wonderful position where they got relegated, but they had loads of money, so they could get rid of a load of players, keep the good eggs, as you like to say, and then build with a whole new load of players who are, A, probably too good for the level, but B, all buying into what this manager says because they don't know anything different. So when you're looking around and you'll see the training ground change, the cameras are now following you, the stadium's got all 4 stands open. Because when I was there, that never happened. Yeah, it never happened. Yeah. All of these things now, fan parks, they talk about new stadiums. You go, oh, do you know what? I want to be around this. And I'm sure that's going to be happening with Man U over the next couple of years, where they're talking about new stadiums and different things. So for me, I think they can. I think the signings they've made have been really smart and shrewd. My only concern is the centre-backs. I still think we need another centre-half with a bit more pace. But all in all, if you said to it now, no one else is going to buy, and we went like this, I'm happy with where we're at, and we can get after them.
Do you think? Just to name some of the players that Troy's referring to: Kyogo Furuhashi, Taylor Gardner-Hickman, Damari Gray's come home on loan, James Beadle, Tommy Doyle, Erin Cashin. They've just signed Marvin Dusk from Werder Bremen on a 3-year deal. He's got a good record in Germany over the past few seasons as well.
But I think the ones you're missing are 2 midfielders from last year. The names have gone out of my head now, but the two midfielders that they've got, they are the key to what Birmingham can do. They control the games. You saw it when they played against Newcastle in the FA Cup. The better the calibre, the better they get. And I believe they're one of the few that can go from League One to Champ and still compete in the Prem.
Still play.
But they can still play and they'll hold their own. Really talented players. But again, as we all know, it's about performing under the lights now. But for a lot of these players, it's now been in a position of you're expected to win week in, week out with a fan base that is expected to win, and you've got to deliver. And can you do that? For Ipswich, it's the other thing now. People are going, you have to win because you was in the Prem last year. And I don't think, Ashley Young is a top man and a top bloke. I don't know how that moves the needle to make you go kick on again. I think there's going to be a few more things that Ipswich will want to get done, but makes for a good game.
Leonard and Iwata in the middle.
Iwata.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's not Leonard. He's good though.
Williamson?
No, not feeling him.
Kieran Dowell?
No.
How many midfielders they got?
Jesse Anderson? Who are we thinking about?
Is it Paik?
Scott Wright? Right?
Is it Paik?
Felix? Who? Paik, yeah.
Yeah,
Paik Sung-ho, yeah.
There you go. Them two midfield are unreal. Sorry, guys. I've had a long time
Been on a lot.
Yeah,
Been
I've been on a lot.
I wanted to ask you about like, the blend of youth and experience then.
Yeah.
They've been, obviously, clearly, they've backed the manager. Of
course.
Massively with signings. Is that blend of youth and experience there for you, and how important is it?
There's probably a little bit too much youth now, in my opinion. Obviously, we've got the goalkeeper on loan from Brighton, really talented, did really well for the under-21s of England. So great with his feet and can play it out from the back. Again, when you play at likes of Wrexham, how's he going to feel when he's getting 15, 20 crosses? And we'll have to see. But by all accounts, very talented. I just think we're in that position, we're just better than a lot of teams in certain areas. So I think the champ this year is going to be so much better because the likes of Coventry will fancy it. Sheffield United have an expectation. Middlesbrough need to go and get on. Do you get what I mean? There's a load of teams now that'll go, start of the season, I think we can make the playoffs.
Yeah. There's a lot of big clubs who I think if hovered just outside the playoffs, who usually on any given year would be in the conversation for at least playoffs, if not automatic promotion. Some of the clubs you just mentioned there, they're all coming back to the table this season saying we got to go at least get in the top 6.
And I think for a lot of people as well, like they underestimate this. I say it every time. You still got to go to Millwall and deliver.
Yeah.
Millwall's one of the hardest places to go and play in the Championship, if not the hardest. So when you're there trying to play out from the back and do that, and they go, no problem then, we're going to get after you, and that fan base is on it. I think for a lot of these, the teams that we've just said in probably the top 8, top 9, so it'll be really difficult for them to go and get the points away at Millwall.
How do you see that opening game going? Packed
well,
house
I'm working
Andrews,
it.
Ipswich coming to town.
Yeah, I'm working it obviously. So I'm gonna go goals. I'm gonna go 3-2 Birmingham.
He's never going to go against them, is he?
No.
I would. I'm an honest guy. I'm not like you. I'm straight. I'm straight.
I didn't expect anything less.
It's going to be a fantastic curtain raiser. It's going to be live here for you on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Now, I think they genuinely feel this could be a fantastic opening game to the Championship season. So make sure you're listening tomorrow evening. Troy Deeney, thank you very much indeed. I know you're an incredibly busy man. You're back tomorrow?
I'm back in the morning. I'll do a show with Sam and Crookie.
10 a.m?
10 a.m. till 1. Finish up there. Got a couple of meetings straight up to Brum. Do the game. You know how it goes.
The busiest man in show business.
Straight back to work. Straight back to work.
And I'm going to carry on watching SAS, so have your phone on.
Thank you. That was all thanks to Ladbrokes, by the way. It's 18+, begambleaware.org.
The big preview on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our odds boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Another team back in the Championship. This time after promotion, just like Birmingham City, is Charlton. We'll be speaking to their chairman, Gavin Carter, straight after this. You're listening to the Transfer Insiders here on talkSPORT. Hugh Woozencroft with you, as is Flex. We'll be talking to the Charlton chairman in a moment. Just to tell you, our very own Ben Jacobs, who was with us a little bit earlier on, is reporting another bad injury for an England international in the Premier League. Of course, the bad news came out about James Maddison undergoing surgery. He's just reported that Chelsea's Levi Colwill has undergone a successful surgery on an ACL injury, but he also reports that Colwill is set for a significant period on the sideline. So a bit of a blow for the Chelsea centre-back, of course, in a World Cup season as well, and for the club. But we wish Levi Colwill all the best with his recovery. Now, this hour we are talking about the start of the Championship season, so let's get back to it. After 5 seasons away, Charlton are back in the second tier of English football. They came through it thanks to a victory in the playoff final at the end of last season. It was an incredible, what he called vindication for manager Nathan Jones. A few were surprised that he took the job at Charlton, of course. His previous job was in the Premier League. He was open to going down to League One, and he's immediately got the club into the Championship. Let's talk to their chairman, Gavin Carter, who joins us on the line. Good evening.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Even going
very well indeed, and I know you're very busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. I wanted to talk about Nathan Jones and what the club has been like since he arrived. I spoke to him straight after that game at Wembley. Like I say, he described it as a vindication. It was a special moment for him, for his family, for the club as well. What has his impact been like behind closed doors there?
Well, I mean, honestly, nothing but truly transformational. I mean, he's brought an intensity. I mean, you can see that just watching him on the sidelines. You know, he's brought a belief. He's built a culture that's lifted everyone around the club, not just the playing staff. You know, I'm talking, you know, the rest of the staff, the board, fans as well, obviously. He is a very demanding leader. There is no doubt about that. But equally deeply committed. The energy is contagious. I find his energy contagious. I think other fans do as well. And from my perspective, you can feel the standards rising across the club. It's not just about the results on the field. It is about how we carry ourselves as a club day in, day out. And, you know, he is very much behind that.
Were you always confident, Gavin, that we'd extend his stay? You know, he turned down interest from his boyhood club, Cardiff. Were you always having that feeling and confident that he'd extend?
Look, I think Nathan's very happy at Charlton. I think Charlton's a great club. We do view it as a project, and perhaps it's a cliche, perhaps it's a term used too much in football, but we feel like we're building something. There's a very clear vision that the board have. Nathan fully bought into that vision. He was always our number one target to bring in. And I think, you know, if you were to speak to Nathan, the job's not done by a long stretch.
The recruitment, very, very important after promotion. You want to get the squad right. So far, you've added the likes of Sonny Carey, Joe Rankin-Costello, Reece Burke, Amari Bell, Thomas Kaminsky's come in, Tanto Alafe, Rob Apter, Harvey Nibbs, Charlie Kelman as well. There's been plenty of work to bring in stronger players. What was the feeling around how you approached the recruitment? Was it just we need players with experience at that level? Was there a longer term view? What were you trying to add?
A little bit of that. I mean, look, we had a focused and very disciplined approach this summer. We set a clear strategy to bring in quality, to bring in characters, youth that we could continue to develop. But around that, we needed championship experience as well. And of course, every player has to fit Nathan's style. So Nathan's very much at the forefront of our recruitment. Prior to the summer, though, we'd built out our recruitment department. We brought Phil Chappell back to the club and others around that. So we were certainly prepared to go into the summer window. And I think from my perspective, we've backed Nathan, but within a sustainable framework. The club must live within its means. Listening to you guys just talking about Birmingham and Wrexham, you know, we are different to Birmingham and Wrexham, but that doesn't mean that we're lacking ambition. And we believe that we've made strong additions. Perhaps there's still more to come. There's lots of work going on behind the scenes, and we're building a squad that can compete now, but grow into the future as well.
Where does that leave you with expectation, Gavin, in terms of, you spoke about, you know, staying within your means, but still being ambitious. How high does that ambition rise? Is it about consolidation? Is it about playoffs? Is it about, you know, daring to dream higher than that?
I think we view this as a multi-year effort in the Championship. So you could read about that, first year sustain, but continue to build. We want to be able to challenge in every game, whoever our opposition is. We fully acknowledge that the Championship is the 5th hardest league in the world. It's a massive step up from League One. But look, we're not just here to survive. Our goal is to be competitive and push on up that table and keep raising standards on and off the pitch. We want to build strong foundations just this year and I guess earn the right to dream bigger.
Very, very important, of course, for a club like Charlton to be in the 2nd tier. Massive for the club to get back after 5 years away. I know against Watford, Saturday lunchtime, the match is going to be in front of your biggest opening day crowd at the Valley for 17 years. Huge away contingent coming from Watford as well. What does that mean? What does that signify about where the club is at the moment?
Look, I mean, there's a real buzz around the club. There's no doubt about it. It will be our biggest home opener for 17 years, as you say. We've also sold more season tickets than we have for the last 17 years. Merchandise sales are at record highs. We've brought new partners to the club like Reebok. There's a momentum around the partners that we brought to the club. So we've made some infrastructure improvements around the Valley. There's more to come. So in the opening months of the season, fans will see more infrastructure improvements. As you say, being back in the Championship is where we feel is the minimum we belong. And the Championship can bring big moments, and Saturday's one of them. There's no doubt about that. We feel we're ready. It's going to be a great day. I leave Colorado later on today to fly into London, and I look forward to welcoming all the fans for a lunchtime kickoff against Watford. It should be a great occasion.
It should be a fantastic occasion. Listen, like I say, I think from my perspective, growing up, seeing Charlton in the Premier League,
always
right?
in the Premier League, yeah.
For them to be below the 2nd tier is almost unthinkable, and the last 5 years must have been difficult for those Charlton fans. I know you're a Charlton fan as well, right? So let's remove your role for a second, Gavin. What are your hopes for the season? Not just in terms of where you might finish in the table, but everything surrounding the team. What are you hoping to see from Charlton as a fan?
Look, as you just said, look, we're a proud club with a long and rich history. Our fans have always been a central part of that history. And as you just said, we've been through some tough times. When we came up before, whether it be under Powley or Bo, there wasn't the support given to them. We feel this is different now. So, we feel like this is a progression and not a inflection point where perhaps it was before. And promotion wasn't just about the football. It was about rebuilding belief, pride and identity. We feel like we're building something. We want to make the supporters proud. I think I would ask for patience at the same time because we have made a lot of additions to the squad. There is going to be a bedding in period there, but I hope that we're certainly competitive from the kickoff.
Definitely a chairman's answer. I appreciate I appreciate.
I do want him to promise one thing though. If Benty tries to get any tickets to come and see, make sure you say he can't come in. Can you do that?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Well, actually, I need to get Benty back for the Ex-Players Association.
Oh, don't do that.
A very good Ex-Players Association, but Benty tells me he's always too busy working for you guys. He's never got time to come to the Valley.
Just don't let him in the hospitality.
Don't worry, Scott Minto is down there representing for talkSPORT regularly. Loves it at the moment. And by the way, you mentioned merchandise. Released on Jamaican Independence Day. That 3rd kit in the Jamaican colours. It hasn't gone unnoticed. I'll be getting one of those by the end of the season. I will do.
It's a great kit.
It is. It is. Kit. They're all great kits this season. I'm a big football kit fan. Charlton have done well this year. And listen, wishing you all the best for the start of the new season. It's going to be really interesting to see how Charlton get on, particularly Nathan Jones being back at this tier because he is a winner. He is a winner, and they have a great manager in charge at the moment. Great to see some of the new signings coming in as well. Charlton going for it this year in terms of staying in, and that is what they should be doing with those great fans as well. Really appreciate you joining us. That's Gavin Carter, Charlton chairman, with you live on talkSPORT this evening.
Nice one going.
Okay, you're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Our EFL expert, Adrian Clark's going to be with us with his predictions for the upcoming season straight after this. You're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Hugh, Woozencroft and Flex are with you. After 9 p.m, Jackson Cole from talksport.com will be here with the latest transfer news. We'll be back to that very, very soon. But this hour, we are discussing the Championship. It returns tomorrow evening live on talkSPORT. Birmingham City against Ipswich to start the campaign. We've spoken about some of the runners and riders towards the top of the table. Adrian Clark, our EFL expert, joins us to discuss the other end of things. We never know what's going to happen in the Championship. Adrian, good evening.
Good evening, Hugh. Hi, Flex.
Evening, mate.
I don't want to be too harsh on these teams. No one wants to hear their team mentioned in the conversation for possible relegation. So it's a harsh one, and we might as well start with Sheffield Wednesday, really, because virtually everyone predicting that they will be relegated. They are dealing with a depleted squad, financial uncertainty, obviously. Danny Roll, their manager, left. Former assistant Henrik Pedersen's taken charge. We've had players not being paid on time, some choosing to leave the club. There is still, I guess, a real bleak picture in terms of what's coming in the next few months, at least, unless a sale is made. That doesn't look like it's going to happen very, very quickly. So we must imagine that Sheffield Wednesday are going to go down at this stage, barring a miracle.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Look, if they don't go down and Henrik Pedersen, who's in charge at the moment, or somebody new comes in and saves them, then they'll instantly propel themselves into sort of manager of the year territory, won't they? Because they are the crisis club at the moment. They can barely put out an 11 of senior players. And, you know, it's such difficult circumstances. Not knowing when you're going to get paid is far from ideal. Danny Roll, for me, was their star. He was the big prize asset, and he's gone as well. So yeah, look, it's rough times. It's horrible to see, because Sheffield Wednesday is a great club, and I've been lucky enough to go to many games for talkSPORT there, and it's always a terrific atmosphere. But that club is in bits at the minute, and they need a saviour, and hopefully Chansiri, the current owner, will sell up quickly.
I do look at the Sheffield Wednesday situation, and it is quite heartbreaking, really, to be honest.
I'm concerned about the future of the club.
Yeah.
If that's guaranteed, then I'm almost okay with the results.
Yeah,
we need to get to that point where the future
that uncertainty
is guaranteed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Adrian, what about Oxford United? They defied expectations last year to stay up in the Championship against all odds, but injuries and depth that remains a concern for them. What must they do? They've done okay to retain some key players, Jamie Cummins, Tyler Goodrum, etc. But they've still got work to do, haven't they?
Yeah, they need to score a few more goals. There's no doubt about that. Oxford, look, they did brilliantly to get into the Championship via the playoffs. Wonderful final performance in the final. And last year they did defy the odds, because everybody really was looking at them and thinking, yeah, look, they're favourites to go down. Didn't have, they had some Championship experience, but they didn't really have that much firepower. So Gary Rowett deserves a lot of credit. They got rid of Des Buckingham, who I thought was doing a really good job. He'd taken them up, but Rowett knows his way around the Championship. Yeah. He knows exactly the type of players that you need if you're a club the size of Oxford to survive in the Championship. So in Rowett we trust is probably the message from Oxford fans. But when you look at the personnel and you look at the names on the team sheet and compare it to the others, you would say that they're up against it. They just brought in Will Lancashire, haven't they, on loan from Tottenham? Yeah. That's an interesting one. It's not easy when you're a youngster going out on loan to a team at the bottom end of a league. If he can fire, though, maybe he could be the difference maker.
They're a club with spirit. Yes. We saw it with Plymouth Argyle, not last season, obviously they were relegated, but even so, they beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. They have that feeling of a club that can produce and punch above their weight at Oxford United. If you go there, you'll understand, all right? If you get the chance, do go. Hull City, now this is a football club where I've been many times, and listen, the fans do have an effect, I think, on the players at the MKM Stadium. They've had some good times in the last couple of years. It hasn't all been great, obviously. And they are in the conversation, I think, for sides that may go down. They narrowly avoided relegation on the final day of last season. Sacked manager Ruben Selles, who's now in charge of Sheffield United. Sergei Yakirovic, the new man at the helm, after departing Turkish outfit Kayserispor. Yeah. Remember that they're unable to sign players that would cost them a transfer fee at Hull due to an EFL punishment placed on them this summer after making late transfer payments to Villa after their loan of Louis Barry last season. So that's going to hold them back just a little bit. They have signed players on free transfers, obviously. How do you think they're looking at the moment?
Well, they just got Ollie McBurney, haven't they? Who's over in Spain with Las Palmas. He's come back on a free. Feels like a good pickup to me. I mean, he's you know what you're going to get with Ollie McBurney. He's a big target man. He'll get on the end of things, and they do need forwards. Goodness me, that was the thing with Hull. They played okay football, they really did, and at times they were quite entertaining, but they lacked a little bit of punch inside the final third, and certainly championship experience. So McBurney's come in, he's got that. Semi Ajayi went there on a free as well from West Brom, the centre half, so he'll give them some stability. And John Lundstrom, who remember him at Sheffield United when they went into Premier League, he's been out in Turkey. He's rocked up at Hull as well. So they've signed some good players. I think they've had a good pre-season. And Jukirovic, actually, even though he's little known in this country, his track record is pretty good. He's won titles in Croatia and Bosnia. So, you know, let's give them a chance. But again, a little bit like Oxford, I look at their squad and I think, they're going to do well to sort of put some distance between themselves and the bottom three. But let's see. The issue for me is the owner. The owner is so volatile. He can make these sort of big sweeping decisions just on a whim, really. And so far they got away with it. But he's got rid of Liam Rosenior, who's absolutely flying at Strasbourg in Ligue 1. He's got rid of Ruben Selles, who was snapped up straight away by Sheffield United. He's got aspirations for the Premier League. You've got to question Carly's judgment, haven't you, really?
Yeah, they need to have a good season for that to be vindicated, to make those type of decisions. Preston North End. Their season almost ended in complete disaster with a late season wobble, almost seeing them slide into the bottom three. But a final day draw at Bristol City was enough to keep them in the division. Goalkeeper Daniel Everson has returned to the club. They've signed Thierry Small as well from newly promoted Charlton. But is Paul Heckenbottom's side on the slide? There's a little bit of optimism around new signings and a push for mid-table security. How important is it that the young talents get in there?
Yeah, look, last season, I think the fans describe themselves as the most boring club in the Championship? Like, just because they're always in the mid-table. And they don't seem to spend any money. They're not the most ambitious of Championship clubs, but they always seem to be okay. But there's not a lot of excitement around Preston North End, unfortunately. They've signed a few new players this summer. So Michael Smith from Sheffield Wednesday, they sort of opportunist pick up there. Daniel Jebison, who I think has got a bit to prove, really. Jebison's at Bournemouth, isn't he? He's had a few loans and it's not really taken off for him, but they'll be banking on him to make a difference this season. They lost Emile Rees to Bristol City, who was their sort of main striker. So, yeah, look, with all of these teams that you've just brought up, the one thing that they lack compared to the teams at the top end is goals. It's as simple as that. They're all organised. They're all solid. They've all got pretty good managers. I mean, Paul Heckenbottom is very, very good manager. But to thrive in the Championship and to survive that long, hard winter, you need people who are going to stick it in the net. And I look at Preston and Oxford and Hull, and I think they're in short supply.
And by the way, one of the teams we mentioned, at least one, given the nature of the Championship, is going to have a great season. Yeah. Because it always happens every single year.
Because you can't predict the Championship, remember?
One of the teams that's in the conversation for relegation at the start of the year is like pushing for the playoffs or whatnot. I just wanted to ask your thoughts, Adrian. Let's turn our attention to the other end of the table. Who do you think will be the main contenders for automatic promotion?
Yeah, I think look, everyone's tipping Ipswich. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. They sort of bought a team, didn't they, last year in the Premier League, of the best young players in the Championship. So you would imagine, dropping back down, that those guys are absolutely going to fly under Kieran McKenna. I mean, all of the teams that come down will be strong. Southampton will still. That's quite an exciting time, I would imagine, for those at St Mary's who had a miserable time last year. Leicester are actually playing pretty well under Martí Cifuentes in pre-season, but we don't know what's going to happen with them in terms of points deductions and penalties. Of the rest, I can't look past Birmingham, really. I'm looking at Birmingham and Coventry. Birmingham and Coventry. I like Birmingham because they're ambitious. They've built slowly but confidently. They're really solid, and they've bought some fantastic players this summer. Damari Gray has come in. Furuhashi, who used to be at Celtic, of course, Cashin, who was so good for Derby, that went to Brighton and hasn't really had a game. So, yeah, Birmingham are going to be strong. Coventry haven't really done much business, but we know how close they were last year. I mean, they outplayed Sunderland for most of that playoff semi-final. So that you would say, logic would tell you that Frank Lampard will get them close. Keep your eye on Norwich. Not many people are talking up their chances, but for me, Liam Manning is kind of one of those pound for pound, one of the best coaches, I think, in the Championship. And they've spent a fair bit of money this summer, Norwich City, and we know that they've got ambitions. So, yeah, look, it's going to be great. Who knows? But, yeah, there's a lot of teams, I think, that will feel they can live the dream this season and get promoted to the Premier League.
Lots of people who watch Welcome to Wrexham will be following their story for this campaign. Phil Parkinson, just a word on him. He was on talkSPORT a little bit earlier on with Scott and Alex.
Yeah.
At this level, I know he's got good backing in terms of the players being brought into the club financially. They're in a very good place, obviously. For him as a coach, 3 straight promotions now. What does he need to do to impress at this level once again?
Make them competitive. It's too much. Surely it's too much for Wrexham to go again and get another promotion. It just feels unrealistic to me when you look at the clubs that come down from the Premier League with all that money, with the parachute payments and stuff. So I think if they can get themselves into mid-table, maybe sneak into the top half, that would be a really, really strong return. And I hope that the Wrexham owners would recognise that and stick with Phil Parkinson, because you can't keep getting promoted year on year. His style of football is a bit more direct and it's less fancy than a lot of teams in the Championship, but they'll be hard to beat, no doubt about that. And look, he's a good manager. He's just a savvy guy that knows and understands football. He really understands footballers, and he gets the club at Wrexham. There's a bit of pressure there, but he's handled it easily, hasn't he? He's really, really been calm the whole way through. And you look at the players they've signed: Ryan Hardy, terrific for Plymouth; Josh Windass, really good for Sheffield Wednesday, probably their best player; Connor Cody, obviously he's been on the slide, but what a character, a gifted player. And then they've just brought in Kiefer Moore. So they mean business, definitely, but I think promotion is a step too far for Wrexham in year 1 at this level.
Whatever happens, their owners won't want mid-table obscurity.
No.
That doesn't make for a good TV show, does it? They've got to be fighting for something on the final day of the season. Okay, Adrian Clark, a real pleasure to be with you once again. Of course, Adrian, part of our regular team on EFL All Access. You can get it wherever you get your podcast from. You can listen on talkSPORT 2 every Monday at 6 p.m. as well. Tomorrow morning, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Troy Deeney are going to be joined in the studio by Lionesses goalkeeping hero Hannah Hampton, fresh from England's historic victory in the European Championships. Tune in from 11:30 a.m. to hear firsthand about the amazing victory in Switzerland and being nominated today for the Ballon d'Or. That's Hannah Hampton on talkSPORT, 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, in the next hour, we're going to bring you all the latest transfer updates. Stay with us on the Transfer Insiders.
wondered why Erling Haaland scores a hat-trick instead of just 3 goals? Why Darwin Núñez is said to have missed a sitter rather than just missing a really easy shot? Or why on earth defenders are said to park the bus? Let's break down some of our favourite football cliches. First, let's talk hat-tricks. The term comes from cricket back in the 1800s. Any bowler who managed to get 3 successive wickets used to be rewarded with a hat from their club. Next up, if you see a skillful tackle, an athletic save or a 40-yard screamer, you might say these things are out the top drawer. That's because back in Victorian times, if you had wealth, valuable stuff, you kept it in the top drawer of your dresser, so loaded families became known as top drawer. Remember the last time your team left you feeling as sick as a parrot? The image of the sick bird is thought to come from a classic British comedy moment, Monty Python's Dead Parrot sketch, but the phrase was first used in football by Liverpool defender Phil Thompson. He supposedly said it after Liverpool lost to Nottingham Forest in the 1978 League Cup final. Forest won thanks to a controversial penalty given away by a Thompson foul, even though it was actually outside the box. Poor guy said he felt sick as a parrot afterwards. Is there anything more embarrassing than a nutmeg in football? Weird name, but it's actually related to the trading of nutmeg, the spice. It was so expensive back in the day that corrupt exporters used to try and mix in a bit of wood in with the nutmeg to cut their costs. The term soon became slang. If you were nutmegged, it was because the person you were buying off had pulled a fast one on you. Jose Mourinho brought a lot of things to English football, and seems like one of those was the phrase "park the bus." He used it after his Chelsea side had been held to a goalless draw by Spurs in 2004. Tottenham had been extremely defensive, not trying to score, but making sure Chelsea couldn't either. Mourinho actually said, "They brought the bus and left the bus in front of the goal," as we say in my country. Finally, another phrase that actually comes from cricket. Footballers are said to have missed a sitter if they miss an easy chance. In the late 19th century, it was used in cricket to describe a moment when a fielder failed to take a catch which was so easy they should have been able to catch it sitting down. So there you have it, some of your favourite footballing cliches. And if you think this video is all over, well, it is now.
This hour on the Transfer Insiders, myself, Hugh, Woozencroft and Flex of the United View will react to all the latest transfer stories. Benjamin Sesko on his way to United. Flex is pretty happy about that after the club's agreed a fee for the striker. We'll find out who's been in for the Aston Villa captain. John McGinn will play Flames or Freezing as well and decide what transfer rumours are hot or not. But we begin with the latest from talkSPORT.com. This is the Transfer Insiders. Yes, to begin this hour, it is time for this.
We know about it. talkSPORT.com on the Transfer Insiders.
No expense spared for Jackson Cole of talkSPORT.com. Good evening. Thank you for coming in to discuss with us what you've got going on talkSPORT.com. And you can start with, what we say, John McGinn.
Yeah.
Possibly on his way out, or you think he's going to be staying at Villa for now?
I personally think he's going to stay, but the last couple of days he's become a real man in demand. The Daily Mail reported yesterday that Newcastle had put him on their shortlist, although they've not had a lot of luck in the transfer window. I actually get the feeling that they might be a little too scared to approach him or Aston Villa in case of getting another rejection. However, Everton, they're not scared. They have put in a bid of £18 million. However, that has been firmly rejected by Aston Villa. And I must say, given he's got 2 years left on his contract and he's their captain, of course, I think that is lowballing a little too much. If you're really determined to get him, you've got to be bidding at least 25 million.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, John McGinn's so integral to everything good that Villa do. He's the dynamism, he's the leadership. If you need him to play on the left, he can do it. If you need him to play on the right, if you need him to play holding midfield, it doesn't matter what you ask him to do. He's such a team player. He just gets what Villa's about and he gets what Unai Emery is asking of him. He's a big engine room. I'm not saying that he is there's no price you sell him for and he's the future of Aston Villa. But like you just said there, Jackson,
there'll be a number.
There'll be a number, and it's not 18 million.
Yeah, of course. Like John McGinn, I think everyone does. I think there's a chance there. I think if you work at that deal, you can get him out the door by the end of this window because the timing might just be right. Well, where's he going to go?
No, I mean, would he want to leave? But I don't
think he'd want to leave. Yeah. But if he gets a 5-year deal and it ensures his future and the future of his family, what's he going to do? Come on,
I think
still
he's
a job.
about 30 now, so this is like the last chance for a big contract, so to speak.
Decent contract, very good football club in Everton. Come on,
they're on the.
You just think he's better than Everton, do you?
Honestly, I think he's that good of a player. Like it's actually a compliment to him. He's doing so well. Be a step down for Villa, that's for sure. But definitely Everton are going in the right direction. I'll give him that.
What else have you got?
Heung-min Son, it was he was unveiled yesterday as a new signing for Los Angeles Football Club. And when I think of Heung-min Son, I think good, honest, hardworking, and top-class player. But I think yesterday, during his unveiling, he was a little too honest for his own good. He basically admitted that LAFC was not his first choice to go to them during the summer. He said it in as many words. He said, they've been absolutely working so hard to get me here to join LAFC. If I'm honest, it was not my first choice. He then went on to praise the general manager of LAFC, John Torrington, saying he did a good job of convincing him to join. Son, he was linked with some Saudi clubs like Al Nassr or Al Ali, but I think that was a little faux pas from Heung-min Son, but we can forgive him, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think so. He's had an amazing career at Spurs.
Do you know what it is? He probably didn't. He's so lovely. That when he said it, nobody was just like, he's a lovely guy.
Did he really say that?
He didn't really mean it like that. It's just not that kind of guy.
He does go on to say, it's like, honestly, the guys here, that wasn't my first choice when I first thought I would leave Spurs. But by the time the conversation was over with the hierarchy at LAFC, they done a really good job of making me understand that here is where I need to be. Because there is a bit more, as you look at more stuff of what he said, he was saying, listen, by the time I got out of there, I knew this is where I needed to be.
And I didn't realise this, but apparently there is a large Korean community in Los Angeles. He was asked about it in his press conference, basically how much you're looking forward to playing for all of those. And he was like, as long as they come to the stadium, as long as they support me, and I'm sure they will. So we saw a lot of Korean fans gravitate towards Spurs when he was there. Maybe that he's going to have the same effect on LAFC. Could be a great pickup for them.
Absolutely, yeah. Final story I've got, not strictly a transfer story, but it was a rumour that really snowballed on social media. You may have seen it. Some parody account was saying that Matt Targett got left behind on Newcastle's pre-season tour of Asia.
They just want to leave him there.
I think they need all the players they can get, to be honest, at this point. But, of course, this did not happen. And Matt Targett, yesterday, when Newcastle returned to training back in the Northeast, he addressed it by putting on his Instagram, made it back in time for training. So he was laughing at the situation. But, fortunately, talkSPORT.com did not fall for that rumour. I did see one or two outlets that did fall for it, but we didn't.
Yeah. Okay, Matt Targett back with Newcastle, where he was meant to be, and he was never left behind. Okay. Jackson, anything else that the talkSPORT.com are thinking may happen in the coming days? Because every fan wants to know where there might be a move coming up shortly, who they're going to sign. Are you expecting maybe any club in particular to give us some activity?
Well, as a Liverpool fan, I'm hoping Isak will get announced. But
right, get out.
Look at them.
To be honest, I suspect that's not going to happen now because Newcastle, they just can't sign anyone to save their life at the moment. And, well, if they've got a top striker and aren't getting one in, then why should they sell? He's still got 3 years left in his contract. Benjamin Sesko, that will be announced imminently. So, movement at Man United.
Reports today, just on the Isak story, reports today that he still remains steadfast that he wants to leave the football club.
I think it's really tough. I think this is... Listen, there's two sides to this. There's one of, listen, mate, you've got 3 years left on your deal. I don't care. You're not going anywhere. We hold the power. But if you think about how Eddie Howe operates, he doesn't want... no matter how good they are, he strikes me as a manager. He won't want someone in that dressing room who's not fully committed. He's all about a harmonious dressing room, getting everybody on the same hymn sheet to run through brick walls for everyone. I don't think he would want to set that precedence of a player who really doesn't want to be there. But then the ownership might be like, Eddie, he's staying. We're not
going to get rid of him if we can replace him with someone subpar. And I think it's one to watch of the hierarchy versus the manager.
I know it's a very different kind of story, but remember Troy said to us a little bit earlier on, at Watford, they'd been told there was surplus to requirements. When they were still there after the transfer window shut, well, things changed.
Yeah, you have to move on.
Things will
score
change.
a goal. Liverpool's second game? Is it? Third game, I think they play?
Second
they
game.
play him really early.
If
Isak scores, it's the first home game.
For Newcastle,
mate. If they're giving it Judas, this and that. If he scores and gives it that to Liverpool again, all will be forgotten.
I think
for a year at least.
I think until that transfer window shut, there might be a bit of an impasse between Isak and Newcastle.
Yeah.
If he's still there afterwards, we know players want to play, and he will want to play. There'll be some work done to reintegrate him. If he ends up going in January, possibly, if they can find someone to replace him with, then maybe that's the time for him to go. But we shall see.
Yeah.
You may well get your wish by the end of the transfer window.
Hopefully not.
And the first person to know about it will be Jackson Cole at talksport.com. So thank you very much for coming in to join us, Jackson. We've got much more still to come before this hour. After the break, we're going to play Flames or Freezing. We'll dissect some of the big transfers coming up and whether they'll be a success or not. So stay with us for that. You're listening to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. You're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Hugh, Woozencroft and Flex are with you. And now it's time for this.
Quick fire! Flames or freezing?
Yes, it's Flames or Freezing, where Flex and I take a look at some of today's hottest transfer stories and decide whether we're going to pour some cold water on them or not. Flames or Freezing, whether we feel like some of these rumours would turn themselves into fantastic transfers, right? Let's start with Manchester United and reports that they've had some talks with Brighton, initial talks, over the possibility of signing midfielder Carlos Baleba. Let's just take a step back from the transfer itself. You are obviously a huge Manchester United fan, watches every single game.
Yeah.
How long have you been desperate for new central midfield players? Manchester United have signed them.
Signed one last year.
So I'm not even going to say that. But ones that actually, ballers.
Ones that move the needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the longest time. Listen, big respect to Ugarte. I think he needs to have a big improvement this season. He's a good ball winner, but once he gets the ball, I think there's some limitations there.
He's everything they said he was when we signed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you speak to people like Kev Hatchard and you speak to Andy Brazel and the people like that, exactly that. Bit of a destroyer, go around, kick people, get the ball back, limited with it. Yeah. Can completely see why Luis Enrique said, that's not happening here at PSG anymore. But Carlos Baleba is exactly what Manchester United need. Yeah. He's too good to just be a pure six and sit there. He's fantastic at travelling with the ball through the thirds. His best attribute, I think, is moving the ball from back to front. He can take the ball on both feet quite comfortably, even though he's left-footed. And he's combative and he can play. He's the exact type of player, and the age profile of him as well is perfect. He
plays football like he's on the playground.
Yeah.
Like he enjoys it way too much for someone who's playing in his position. Sometimes he's just like, I'll have a little dribble here and I'll just knock a 50-yard pass. And I'm like, do you know what? If this guy really just...
He's not taking it serious, is he?
But ultimately he performs, right?
Every game.
I just wonder what he'll be like if he were to move to a big club. Does he need that level of fun and enjoyment to perform? Does he have that at Manchester United where the huge pressure would be? Obviously, he's a very, very good player. Love him to play for Manchester United. But there are some that argue that Manchester United at the moment is a place that players are basically going to die. Like, no one's improving. So if you're Carlos Baleba from his side of things, is Manchester United the place that you want to go?
Well, you look at it and you say all of those things. You say, okay, 15th, career might stagnate. You go at the beginning of the end of your career before it's even started, etc., etc. And then you say, mate, you're going to play with Bruno Fernandes. You're going to play with Ahmad. You're going to play with Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko. They're going somewhere. You can be part of the crop that undoes that schema. Because absolutely right, we're dealing with the sins of the past at Man United. There is no guarantee that any of these signings are going to be what we need them to be. But we have to start somewhere, right? And the intent that Ineos are showing, he fits the profile perfectly. And according to reports, if you talk to Ben Jacobs and different people out there, he hasn't closed the door on the move at all.
Before I give my final answer on Flames or Freezing, what would the signing of Carlos Baleba mean for Kobbie Mainoo? Because he just hasn't found a settled position under Ruben Amorim. Yeah. Clearly, we all thought that he was going to be that player, Kobbie Mainoo.
Do you know what? For the future of Man United, I'm going to say something. In terms of the immediate future, it's tougher. But actually, as time goes on, Baleba's good enough, legs-wise, to cover a lot of space. So I could actually see those two. If he is going to play Kobbie Mainoo deeper, it has to be alongside someone like Baleba, in my opinion, who can do a bit of everything. Ugarte's too limited. Casemiro can't do it. That him and Bruno doesn't work. So if Kobbie is going to play in a 2, which I think he's better in a 3 or better in a 10, it has to be with someone like Carlos Baleba. So actually, I think that could be the future of Man United for the next 10 years.
Those two.
Yes.
Central midfield.
Yeah, but obviously Bruno's going to be there, so not right now.
Well, not for 10 years. Anyway.
No, but I mean, that's what I'm saying in the immediate, he might be able to do it.
Flames or Freezing?
Flames.
Flames.
Break the bank for Carlos Baleba, mate. I'm serious. If you said to me, it's Carlos Baleba, but you have to keep Onana and that's all you're going to get, 10 out of 10 window.
Just to add him to the 3?
Yes. 9 out of 10, because the keeper would make it 10. 9 out of 10 window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about Liverpool next. I know you don't want to.
No, let's do it.
Reports they could go for Bradley Barcola of Paris Saint-Germain if their move for Alexander Isak doesn't work out. Now, Barcola's found himself largely on the bench after Havica Kvaratskhelia signed. We all know what a great team they've got at Paris Saint-Germain, Champions League winners. They got to the final of the Club World Cup as well, of course. But he's kind of found himself as a backup winger. Desiree Doué plays in that front three. Obviously, Ousmane Dembele.
Stacked.
Would it be a great move for Barcola, firstly, him personally, where he is in his career right now?
It's an interesting one because by name and how exciting he is, and then what Liverpool do, and just like, they're able to buy everyone. Oh my God, that's crazy. That'd be a great move. But you have to break it down a little bit. Ekitike can play off the left, but if Isak goes there, that's probably where they'd have to go. You still got Gakpo. No one's getting in on the right. The 10's Wirtz. He might still be a bench player. He might. But if they don't get Isak and decide to get him, does he definitely start over Gakpo?
Ekitike down the middle.
Barcola on the left, Salah on the right. That's crazy.
They like to rotate at Liverpool.
That front three would be frightening. So, but he'd still have to go and win that spot, like off Gakpo, to make sure he's the guy. So
Gakpo can go down the middle as well.
Yeah, I'd say just about Flames. It feels weird saying
about.
It's Flames. He's
serious
a good player.
Flames.
He's a serious baller, but I'm just saying, like, there could be a lot of competition at Liverpool where it doesn't mean he definitely starts.
Yeah,
so it might not be as Flames as we think. But in terms of...
remember, he's not starting at the moment at Paris.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's not like he's giving up guaranteed starting position to be on the bench at Liverpool.
Well, why not just be at the bench at PSG then?
Well, Liverpool, are they not a bigger club?
Oh, absolutely.
Is this not the Premier League? Is that not an attractive
Who's the best team in Europe, though? PSG's dealt with Liverpool.
Right now. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Was that just not a fluke, but is that just like they've had that little time and then Chelsea showed them what it was?
It's not a fluke. You're not going to win the Champions League. No one's going to win the Champions League.
Not in that manner as well.
Unless you're Real Madrid, who can be rubbish and still win it every year. I don't know how they do it, but...
Nah, it's Flames. It's Flames. He's a quality
for me, it's
player.
Flames.
Yeah. Actually, do you know how you judge over Flames? Do you want to pull up to Anfield? Yeah.
See Bradley Barcola.
I see Barcola on the left, Salah on the right, and Ekitike or Isak through the middle. The answer is no. Wirtz just behind that. The answer is no. So it's Flames.
Right, let's talk about Jack Grealish. There's been a lot of conversation about him. Everton possibly going to sign him on loan from Manchester City. First things first, before we talk about the transfer, Manchester City are coming out saying that they want whoever takes him on loan to pay his full salary. It's reportedly £300,000 a week. Obviously, then the reports move to, well, he's going to have to adjust his salary if he wants to play this season. I think he will do that. He obviously wants to play. There's an opportunity to go to a World Cup here. It's not an everyday thing for a footballer. And I think if he plays well, I think he will get chosen to go to that World Cup. I think there'll be bigger squads for the World Cup next year as well, given it's 7.5 weeks long or whatever it is, in however many degrees. We saw how hot it was this summer at the Club World Cup. So I actually think there's a really good chance of him getting on the plane to the World Cup. Is Everton the team for him to go to?
I think there's two sides to this. My immediate response is no, because also I'm looking at Spurs now and I'm like, that's the move. But actually, I think that Jack Grealish is in a position whereby all of that sort of, I should be playing at this level or that level, I think should probably go a little bit, man, because he hasn't been good enough. Hugh.
European football, he should be in.
Yeah, but I say, but you're saying that, but he hasn't been performing at that level.
No.
He hasn't been picked.
But he should.
He's been having some mishaps off the field. He's not been performing. He's not the level. What he needs more than anything this year is to be the main man and play regularly. Now, listen, if he goes to Spurs now with what's happened to Maddison as well, 100%, I think that's the better move. But it's not to say that if he goes to Everton and plays week in, week out, new stadium, they're going places with David Moyes, just signed Dewsbury Hall as well. Like, that could be a good, decent move as well.
Just to let you know, the US President Donald Trump holding a briefing in the Oval Office at the moment. You can listen to it over with our colleagues on Times Radio or Talk Radio as well. Back to Jack Grealish. I agree with you. Champions League football is where
it'd be perfect. It'd be perfect for him to go to Spurs. It looks. If I'm Spurs, I'm picking up the phone now and say, Jack, listen, Champions League football, main man in the 10.
He needs to go to a dominant team. He needs to go to a team that controls and wins basically the majority of their games, right?
Tottenham finished 17th,
he needs to be, but he needs to be on the ball. He needs to be on a team that's on the front foot. Otherwise, you don't see what's the point of him? Truly, no disrespect.
Well, we didn't see the best of Jack Grealish as a Man City on the front foot.
Didn't see the best of him.
I don't think do you really think he played badly at Man City? I don't think he did.
He didn't do enough.
But I don't think he played badly. I get what you're saying. He could have been better, definitely. But you wouldn't be like, he's rubbish.
For me.
Well, come on, we watched the FA Cup final. People say, bring Grealish on. You need a goal. You know, he's still got that allure of a player that can make something happen. He can, man. If I'm Everton, it's a brilliant signing for Everton. Yes. It is a brilliant sign. So that definitely is Flames.
I don't know. I just think in a World Cup year... Yeah, exactly. It's Flames.
It's Flames.
In a World Cup year, he just needs to go.
But if I'm Jack Grealish, I'm not going to Everton.
You're going to go Spurs?
No. I'm
You're going to go Spurs?
I don't care. I'm not going to Everton.
Why? Is it too low?
I'm not going to Everton. It's not that it's too low. They're a big football club, obviously, but it's the style of football currently. It's the ability to get on the ball, make things happen.
More's going to happen for you at Spurs.
Listen, you keep saying Spurs. I'm saying,
just not.
It doesn't matter who you go to. It doesn't matter where it is. Even if you go to Liga, even if you go to Italy, wherever you go, you need to be a team who's going to be finishing probably top 6 part of that division.
Yeah.
Because you get to give the numbers to Thomas Tuchel, goals and assists that he's looking for.
How many does he
put
get?
you on that plane. You need that confidence back if you're Jack.
He never scored 10 goals. He never scored 10 goals in a season.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think we're doing a bit.
You
much
know
for
what
Jack.
I'm saying, right?
I do. I get what you're saying. You need to be at a team that's on the front foot, looking quite good to be able to come back to Thomas Tuchel and say, "Look, bro, look what I'm doing." But we also have to take a little bit of where Grealish is in his career at the minute. It needs to reignite. Yes, there's ability in there. I want to see that come out of him, but mate, he might need to just bring it down a bit and say, "I just need to go where I'm going to be happy. I'm going to play every game."
Okay, all right.
But it is a Flames for FA.
Yeah. Up next, RB Leipzig to sign Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. Very quickly.
Flames for them, but I want to see Harvey Elliott in the Prem doing well. Like no disrespect to RB Leipzig, I think he's better than that.
Yeah.
I think he's better than that.
I don't think he needs to take a Bundesliga move.
No, he could go to Spurs.
He could go to Tottenham, and I mean, there's a number of honestly.
Tottenham are that team now, isn't it?
No, but I mean, even if you're looking at Europa League teams, Europa Cup, I mean, he is a very good
player. I think he needs to be playing higher than that.
Yeah. But RB Leipzig, I don't know.
For them, it's Flames.
It might be Champions League football if he goes to RB Leipzig.
Yeah, true. They didn't get in it this year, did they? So
I don't know. I can't remember.
No, they didn't.
They're not.
They're not.
I don't know, man. I think he's going to have options.
I think he needs to. I would like to see him stay in the Premier League.
Germany, by the way, they're just picking off the young English players, aren't they? It's a resale value.
And in terms of to reignite your career, to be fair, we've seen English players go there and do it.
Okay, all right. Very quickly, finally, Amari Hutchinson of Ipswich to Nottingham Forest. Would that be Flames or freezing?
Brilliant for Amari Hutchinson.
Think so?
Yeah, really good for him. Playing off the right, replace Anthony Elanga.
Will he?
Callum Hudson.
I don't think it's a great move from a football perspective unless you're going to start every week. He's a young player. I think he needs to play. Forest they want to be in the top half of the Premier League. They want to be going into Europe. There's going to be a lot more pressure there.
Is he a good replacement for Anthony Elanga?
I mean, it's not a like for like. No. They don't do the same things on the football pitch, but he's got quality. He could be a good addition to the squad at Forest for sure. Is he going to start?
Could he kick on under Nunes?
He could start. He could start. But I just
it feels a little lukewarm, isn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I don't even know if that's a hot.
We don't have a buzzer.
We don't have that, but
lukewarm. But it's lukewarm anyway. All right, Flex. Thank you very much indeed. Up next, we'll be talking about Benjamin Sesko, Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee, John McGinn, and much more. Stay with us on the Transfer Insiders. some scores to bring you up to date with tonight. League One action actually in the EFL. 75 minutes on the clock, still goalless between Port Vale and Cardiff City. There have been some games in Europe tonight. It's Europa League qualification and Conference League qualification. A couple of games involving Scottish teams to tell you about. Hibernian, 74 minutes on the clock. 2-0 up away against Partizan in Serbia. And Dundee United trail Rapid Vienna by 2-1 away from home as well. Larne of Northern Ireland 3-0 down to Santa Clara of Portugal. I think that's about it for British representation. Oh no, Linfield beaten earlier on by Vikinga 2. Apologies if I missed any. There are so many games to tell you about, but I think that's just about got them all, and I'll try and keep you right up to date with those full-time whistles when they go as well. But this is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I'm Hugh Woozencroft. Alongside me is Flex, and this is your whistle-stop tour of the biggest transfer news of the day. And we're going to begin by discussing Manchester United and a deal being agreed for Benjamin Sesko, a deal worth £73.7 million with RB Leipzig. The agreement includes a guaranteed payment of £66.3 million. The rest will be in add-ons. Sesko will complete the formalities. He'll undergo a medical before finalising his move to Old Trafford. Is this Manchester United's world-class number 9 of the future?
The key words there of the future. I think that's really important to remember. I think when you spend this type of money, or as United have been looking for a number 9, for that type of money, people are expecting, that's it. Then you've got the guy. But like we've seen, Man United in this reset are trying to build for the future. They're trying to build for the not too distant future, not the next 10 years, but within the next 2 to 3 years, to be challenging, as Omar Barada has said, for the Premier League by 2028. Now, people can laugh at that, but what Man United are doing is putting in place a structure and buying accordingly with a view to carrying that out, which I like. I like that. I think it's completely unrealistic with everything that's gone wrong at Man United to change it all in one transfer window, or even 2 under Ineos. And be competing immediately. It's too big of a gap. But actually, what these signings do as well, coupled with Benjamin Sesko in terms of Cunha and Mbeumo, they do. I think they could potentially accelerate how good we can get in that time. There's still a lot of work to be done, but Benjamin Sesko is one for the future. But he's got a lot of really good attributes now, and he's a massive upgrade on what we've got.
How would you have rated Manchester United's squad last season out of 10? Not based on their play, just a squad at the start of last season, in terms of the quality of player in that changing room.
As in, not because they finished 15th? Just
no.
Beginning.
Start of last season, yeah.
5.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
This season, where is it now? With these signings that they've brought in?
With those 3, got a whole new front line, mate. I'll say 6.5. Can't get too carried away. I want to go towards 7.
I thought you were going to give it a strong 8, but 7?
It's too much because there's still work to do. But
and this is why. Do you know the reason that I ask you that?
Yeah.
In your mind, Manchester United's transfer business has taken them from a 5 to a 7.
Yeah.
And I wanted, as much as I'm pleased that Manchester United have signed Mateus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo and now Benjamin Sesko, of course it makes the squad better. I wanted overhaul. I wanted complete overhaul. I think 15th in the Premier League is rock bottom for Manchester United. I think there isn't a single player in that change room after a 15th place finish that could have complained if Manchester United wanted them to leave. The only one, Bruno Fernandes.
Only Bruno.
Obviously.
And Ahmad.
And
Lenny
but
there was what we no.
No, come on.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
He's one for the future. He's looking brilliant.
Yeah, okay, but
he's looking really good, and he played well.
Can I just say, in terms of your review at work, do you go, but in the future I'll be good at my job?
No, he was good at his job last year.
Bruno was.
No.
Bruno was at the level required for a Manchester United player.
You're looking at it.
I'm not even saying they're bad players.
No, but you're saying that you couldn't have argued if we sold Lenny Euro and the first player coming into that.
They're good for young players. But I'm saying, on the grand scheme of things, did you produce what's expected of a Manchester United player? No, they couldn't say they could. They just finished 15th. I get that within their own prism of
Lenny Euro could have said,
I'm a young player. I don't think he was that good, but okay. But my point is, I still feel being more radical with the recruitment, taking out half a dozen, 6, 7, 8 players of the squad that will remain, by the way, not the ones that have been left now, I think that's still needed. But for this year.
Of course.
And that's obviously not going to happen.
Exactly. You just got.
And then next year.
I think you want too much.
I know. Maybe I do.
I think you're being unrealistic with how much you want to change in such a short space of time.
Well, I think
they've axed 5.
I think the squad deserved it.
They've axed 5.
They haven't really axed 5.
Well, they've told them they're not. They've started the process.
Yeah, but in terms of players who actually played, Malacia didn't play for Man United last season. He's one of the 5. No. Sancho didn't play for Manchester United last season. He's one of the 5. Rashford didn't play. He's one of the. So come on, when you say axing players, these are players who weren't involved last season.
Right, but it's things that need sorting. When you're dealing with the sins of the past, it's got so bad. You have to. You know what Man United always say? You have to initiate the exits. It's so bad at Man United. You can't even just go, I want you gone, and then you click your fingers and you're gone.
That's a miracle.
You have to. Exactly.
Still there.
What are you supposed to do? Look, his wage of 350 grand a week. What can you do?
You've got to do something.
What?
You've got to put some money to the side. 50
what money? We've just spent it on trying to get players. We've just spent it to try and get players.
Yeah, we need to get players out.
So what should we have done? Just paid off however much millions it costs.
Not everything.
When he can be an experienced head in the dressing room and not play that much.
Is he going to have any effect, truly?
What do you mean?
Casemiro, what effect is he going to have on this Man United team, truly?
No, he's not going to have that much effect this season because we're phasing him out. What I'm saying is you can't blame...
He's not going to have the £370,000 a week
If you was a buying club, Hugh, would you want to put money down and get him out of Man United and take him unless you were Saudi? No, you wouldn't.
What's the salary?
Well, he's on 350 grand a week.
What's the salary?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, you pay him off. You get him out. He's not the first player on a high salary who's left the football.
We've got to do that to Marcus Rashford's on 250.
Well, it's a good point you make.
So is Jadon Sancho.
Manchester United was skint. They've just spent over £200 million on 3
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
now you're pleading poverty.
I'm saying it's one or the other. We're not rich enough to be able to get rid of all them players you're saying and buy them out of their contract and play football manager and then also spend 200 and something million on the new players. You have to pick your poison. What Man United have done, when they've been more forceful than ever, is before tour even started, they said, these 5, you're not coming. You're not welcome. That's the first time they've done it. I sat on pre-season tour last year with Jadon Sancho playing Happy Families to try and preserve value. Guess what happened? They sent him to Chelsea and they paid money to send him back. What more do you want?
I would have liked to see, I got to say, more players leave the football club.
Oh, mate,
and
I get it.
Of that point of view.
We need, by the time the window's closed, they need to leave.
That's the future. And you don't know what's going to happen with those players.
Up until now, we had a good window.
You just told me no one wants Casemiro because of his salary, but yet you're telling me that we're going to get rid of those.
No, I didn't say Casemiro. He's not on the list.
No, I know. But the other players.
Yeah,
So why are they so desperately wanted, even though they've been exiled at Man United?
Well, they're not desperately wanted,
this is my point. But I'm
saying they're going to leave.
We never would have got rid of Casemiro, but we are going to get rid of the likes of Jadon Sancho.
We are. Well, do you think Jadon Sancho is going to be a Man United player when the window's closed? Do you honestly think that?
I can't predict.
You honestly think
the only club that I've seen linked with him is Juventus. Why haven't they done the deal already? If they can get him easily.
Because you have to understand, we're in a bad position. We're not going to be able to get rid of these players quickly and on our terms. This is what happens when you make the monumental
£10 million
mistake.
deal, isn't it?
No, but this is what happens when you make the monumental mistakes that they've made you. You can't undo it quick. It's Arsenal. Arsenal didn't just get rid of all of these players, but they had to undo it one by one. They had to do Ozil, rip up the contract. Then they got to pay.
That's the point I'm making. We haven't.
Right,
currently,
let the window open. Let it finish.
We haven't undone any of them.
But we've bought in
but
3 fantastic
spent 200 million.
Yeah. So why do you think they've done that?
We're going to be in a very difficult position.
You think they think them players are going to stay?
But if we don't, and we listen, unless you know something I don't, there is a chance those players don't get moved on. Until they're out the door, they're inside at Man United and they're getting paid. So until we know that they're gone, now obviously inside Man United, they might have real good feelers, right? They might have a good understanding.
There's no way they're signing 200 odd plus million pounds of players. And they think
we're going to speak on September the 2nd.
Do it. They will be gone. Here's what will happen. Jadon Sancho will be gone. Garnacho will be gone. Anthony will be gone. I mean, all 4 of them players left. They'll be gone.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Højlund.
He's another one.
Will he be gone?
Yeah, I think he will.
So the backup for Sesko will be
Xerxes, and
that's okay
for a season. Yeah.
Okay.
With what we've got, yeah, that's fine.
Just checking.
He's better than Rasmus Højlund, yeah.
One other story.
Don't you think? Is that terrible?
No, I mean it is
for a season. We can't do everything.
We can't do everything. On that, I do agree.
We still need a goalkeeper as well.
Are we getting a goalkeeper? Are Man United getting
Probably not. Not if we get Baleba.
They spent 200 million on. You want Baleba now?
Of course I do.
Okay.
You don't want Baleba because when we sell these players, we're going to get Baleba.
Okay. Carlos Baleba from Brighton, Man United getting him?
I'm not going to give up hope.
We're looking into the crystal ball with Flex. He's predicted a lot that's going to happen.
I'm trying to see it. I'm going to manifest, yeah.
So it is happening?
In my mind, yeah. This isn't any sources or this is just in my head.
Very quickly, Aston Villa rejecting a bid from Everton for their captain, John McGinn. talkSPORT understands the Toffee's opening offer of £18 million was not backed by Villa, which is very understandable for a player that's worth a fair bit more than 18 million.
I think so. I think it's a cheeky little bid from Everton. Don't know if it's to unsettle the player or just let it be known that, listen, we're interested. Okay, if you reject that, what's it going to take? It is bartering. When you go to buy something, you don't just go in at the price that you 100% think you're going to accept. So you try. But I know John McGinn's got a couple of years left on his Villa contract, but he's really important to them. He's really important to them. Like I said, he's a leader. So there is a price for him though, and I think if Villa reach that price, especially with them needing to get some money through the door, I think they would be open to it. But
I've been rude in some people's eyes regarding Everton. We're going to talk about Jack Grealish in a while. I'll let you know whether I think he should be an Everton player or not. But do you think John McGinn, his level is Everton right now?
He can play higher than that. He can be playing in Europe now. Like, he's been playing in the Champions League last year, putting in good performances. His level's definitely higher than Everton. Now, that's not to say, though, that under David Moyes, a new look team, like I said, they just signed Dewsbury Hall. You add in McGinn to that. They got a new striker, Tiano Barry. Could they get Grealish? All of a sudden, it looks a little bit different. But default settings, no, he should be playing higher. Look at what he's been doing at Villa for the last few seasons. Unbelievable player.
You're really listening to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. That's the voice of Flex. I'm Hugh Woozencroft. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes. Blame them. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. I'm Hugh Woozencroft. Alongside me is Flex. And remember, this is your whistle-stop tour of the biggest transfer news of the day. Earlier on the Transfer Insiders, talkSPORT's transfer reporter Ben Jacobs gave us his exclusive story of Manchester United's potential departures.
Manchester United have a clear asking price communicated to Chelsea, as we revealed earlier in the day exclusively on talkSPORT. Club-to-club talks are underway and now starting to advance. £50 million is what Manchester United are looking for. That's down by about 10 or 15 million from their January price when Chelsea also inquired. Chelsea's perspective is Manchester United need a bit of a fire sale. It's late in the window. The player would prefer to leave. He's surplus to requirements anyway from Manchester United perspective. All of these are indicators that maybe suggest the price can drop. So we'll have to wait and see whether the clubs meet halfway. But Chelsea are confident. Garnacho wants the move, and I would be surprised if Alejandro Garnacho isn't a Chelsea player before the window is out.
See, you'd be surprised if he.
I got to say, just on the fee, I don't know why Man United would accept lower. I can't imagine his salary is so big.
He's on like 50, 60 grand.
Yeah. That it's like we have to... If you really want it to go towards your accounting for PSR as pure profit, I say hold steadfast for 40 million.
Yeah.
At least.
No, I agree. We shouldn't be accepting any lowball offers that Chelsea try and do. Of course, we've given up a little bit of the wiggle room because we don't want him. He doesn't want us. It's fractured. He's posting pictures of being an Aston Villa shirt, Rashford on the back. Like, it's over. It's finished. Finito, right? So that gives the buying club a little bit of strength in terms of their positioning in the deal. However, we do need to get better at selling players. I mean, if you're telling me that Noni Madueke is the best part of 50+ million, if you're telling me Jamie Gittins has never played football in the Premier League is the best part of 50-odd million, if Anthony Elanga is 55 million, Garnacho's played just under 200 games for Man United. You know, and don't get me wrong, he's got a lot to work on, like you said, about his attitude and things he needs to work on. But I actually do believe he's actually a decent young player. I don't buy into this that he's terrible and his attitude's so rubbish, he's going nowhere. I think at Chelsea he'd do well. I do. I think at Chelsea under Enzo Maresca, high and wide on the left, he's direct, he's fast. He's got a lot to improve on his final ball, of course, but he does have a lot of ability. And Enzo Maresca has showed us so far that he can get a tune out of some young players. Don't get me wrong. If he doesn't, then he'll be out. But yeah. I don't think it's the worst move for Garnacho. But I do believe that Man United, we need to be looking at that 50 million package.
For Garnacho?
Yes.
50 mil. They've
42.5 up front with some rising 8 millions.
And it's not going to happen because of the public way that they've fallen out. You know, reports coming out that after Europa League final defeat, you know, Garnacho is told in front of the rest of the group of players to go and find a new club.
Even before that.
You know, like you say, the posting of Rashford's Villa shirt and him wearing it on holiday. But even coming out after the Europa League final defeat and kind of straight to the press saying that he, you know, why didn't he play and that he basically was,
do you know what, though?
was the reason.
I'll be honest.
But coming out after a club defeat and claiming that you should have played and you're basically the reason the club got to the final, whether you're right or not.
Yeah.
It is just not right.
It was distasteful, but I don't think that is a singular reason why he should be exiled and never play for the club again.
No, but he has been.
What do you mean?
He has been. So
he has been exiled.
For any club's bidding.
But he could have come back from that. Not at that point because of what happened before. But that a player Mason Mount's been injured for 2 years and he's played near enough all the games, especially in the running, and he's seen Mason Mount come. If I was him, I'd be annoyed. That's fine. That's just the passion of we ask players to talk about how they're feeling. On a personal, Hugh, if that was you and you was in that changing room, I've been injured for 2 years. You ain't seen me kick a ball. And in the lead up, you see me.
I'd be frustrated.
Yeah, you might not express it in that way.
He's a young person. So
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't need to be it's the end of it, but it's curtains for more reasons than that. We know that. Yeah. So like you said, the fact is that it is curtains.
No, but the fact that it's been so public a fracture means that clubs
brings the price down.
They're not going to come in and offer you exactly what you want at full value. No. That's
and we have to accept that. And if that's what it's going to take to move on, we have to take a little bit less.
40.
You got to take it.
Yeah.
You got to take it. Because also you got to remember it does represent 100% profit. So it's not like just a player that you bought for 50 million and now you just have to accept that.
I can only go on his kind of pattern of behaviour at Manchester United.
And assume that it's going to carry on.
Is he a squad player? Is he a team player? And is he and Enzo Maresca going to get along?
Here's the thing.
I don't see it.
There's a lot of reasons why it could not.
It's a crazy move.
One thing what I won't do is just tarnish all of Garnacho. Anytime he plays, he doesn't stop running and like throw the towel in and not work hard when he's on the pitch. But you are correct. If he's not the main man, or he's not getting games, or he feels like he's been treated in an unjust manner, the evidence shows us that he hasn't worked that out yet about how to face that. So you're right. He could face some difficulties there. But once he crosses the white line, he always gives his all. He always gives his all. It might not be good enough in terms of the quality, but I think he's a good young player and he has ability, but it is the temperament. So
I think
that could be
probably
combustible.
getting used as a pawn for PSR and accounting. I think they
Absolutely.
I think Chelsea feel they can get him for a low price.
Same with Kobe Mainoo.
And move him on for a decent price.
Oh, you mean for Chelsea? Oh, right,
yeah,
Chelsea,
for Chelsea. No, I think. But I also think the reason that he wants Chelsea, okay, it's a big club, but I think
to get a big contract,
they're going to offer him. They're going to offer him the kind of contract that keeps him very, very comfortable for quite a while. So for him, it's almost like Chelsea or no one.
He says Chelsea or no one. If Chelsea don't work out, mate, Man United should call the bluff and say, well, he wants to be on that plane with Argentina to the World Cup. I'll tell you that much. He thinks he's Messi.
I just don't. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it being a very successful move, to be honest. But there you go. Ben Jacobs also spoke to us about a player who could be on his way out of Manchester City.
And then with Jack Grealish, Everton are in talks. They only want a loan due to the cost of a deal. Could change a little bit if Jack Grealish decides to drop his wage significantly. I think it'd have to be both. Man City would have to sanction a loan and Grealish would have to agree to adjust his wage. But what gives Everton a little bit of hope is the fact that Grealish isn't only thinking about the wage in domestic football. He knows, because he's been told directly from Thomas Tuchel, if he plays regularly, he could be in the World Cup plans. And that's probably the difference between Tuchel and Gareth Southgate. Southgate had a project. Southgate was prioritising youth. Southgate was trying to build something over many tournaments, and that, to an extent, informed his selection. You look at Tuchel and he's thinking, who can I pick today, tomorrow, and at the tournament that's going to win me a World Cup? I think Grealish probably will make a wage concession simply because he wants the move to play every week with that World Cup in mind. And it's Everton at the moment that are the most concrete option, and they're in direct club-to-club talks with Man City about the possibility of a loan.
That'll be interesting because there were reports that Manchester City only wanted, like Ben was saying there, his whole contract paid in full. Everton obviously are not to do
I don't think there's a team in Europe that's going to do that.
No.
There isn't. There's no one's going to give Jack Grealish,
as he said, he's going to reduce his salary.
He has to.
Yeah.
If he wants to get his career back on track, this is what we've been talking about. Is that I think that Jack needs to drop the I should be doing this. I've won this. No. You've been out of form. You haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing. You need to make sure you're playing regular football, and you can say to Thomas Tuchel, look, I'm playing regularly. I'm happy. I'm enjoying myself. I just want to find the love back for football.
I know,
again.
but he would have watched someone like Marcus Rashford go to Barcelona and think, do I need to, you're saying I played badly, but I get it. There's levels. Maybe Rashford's is Barcelona. But
Marcus Rashford can put numbers
Everton,
on the board, though.
Is his Everton?
Doesn't have to be. It can be Spurs. It can be Spurs. It could be Juve. It could be AC Milan. It could be other places. But I'm not saying he should have 100% go to Everton, but I don't think there should be this massive snobbery around Jack Grealish. Like, he's been amazing. He hasn't. He's been left out of squads, left on the bench, not just because he's fallen out with Pep Guardiola. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. There's a talent in there, and he's not a young kid anymore. What's Jack Grealish, 30 now?
I don't think he's been that bad.
What's he done?
No, but to the extent that you're saying, he hasn't been that bad. Like, he got left out in a FA Cup final, and Pep gave someone their debut.
Exactly.
Over him.
Exactly.
That was a message. He has not been that bad football wise. He hasn't.
It's a message that I'm going to play. I'm going to give this young kid a debut over you. You're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Okay, it's been a pleasure to be with you for the last few hours. This has been the Transfer Insiders, the show live tomorrow on radio, YouTube, your smart TV, the talkSPORT app as well from 7 p.m. You can catch the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Acast, wherever you get your podcast from as well. Okay, coming up next on talkSPORT, the Sports Bar. Jason Cundy and Darren Ambrose are with you. 03717 22 33 44.